is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
The Cactus League season is underway here in the Valley. Baseball in the air all over our great state of Arizona. And here in Scottsdale, fans are flocking into Salt River Fields. It's the D-backs and the Dodgers. Our first televised spring game of the year. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball is brought to you by your Valley Honda dealers. Good afternoon from Salt River Fields here at Talking Stick, and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume, Bob Brenly along the way. Our first spring game of the year here on Fox Sports Arizona. And Bob, we get Zach Greinke's first start this season.
Yeah, he's been delayed slightly at the beginning of camp, which is not highly unusual for a veteran guy like Zach Greinke. But any team that's going to have success in the 2017 season needs big production from their big boy at the top of the rotation. There's no question that's Zach.
The Diamondbacks have said all spring long so far that Zach Greinke's being slow played this year. He's on his own schedule. What do you think about that?
I think that's standard operating procedure at the major league level. You get a guy with a track record who has prepared many times for a long season. He knows what he needs to do to get ready. As long as physically everything is okay, I have no problem with slow play.
Should be a fun game here today. Former Dodger Zach Greinke goes for the D-backs, and former D-back Brandon McCarthy goes for LA. First pitch is coming up next on Fox Sports Arizona. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. By Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By Gila River Casinos. Experience winning like you've never imagined at Gila River Casinos, Lone Butte, Wild Horse Pass, and Dequeva. By Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call the Law Tigers, Arizona's motorcycle lawyers. And by Ram Trucks. Hurry in and get a great deal during Ram Truck Month. Baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by your Valley Toyota dealers. Visit your local Valley Toyota dealer or shop online. Toyota, let's go places. By Northern Arizona University. At NAU, we see possibility in every direction. By Tire Pros, everything rotates around you. And by Sanderson Ford. The best play is at Sanderson Ford. Back in the Valley, Zach Greinke says Torey Lovullo will be the Diamondbacks opening day starter April 2nd against the Giants here today. He makes his first start this spring. First pitch is coming up next. Just about set to go here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly along the way. 75 degrees and sunny today. Do have a light sky overhead, some good cloud cover at the ballpark, and a little breezy here today, BB. The wind is blowing in from right center field.
Yeah, this is one of those hazy sunshine days here in the Valley of the Sun, and with the wind blowing, which way is it going now? It looks like it's blowing straight out to right center field. Any time of year, pitchers would do themselves a big favor by checking those flags before they take the mound.
Wind is swirling, so we'll keep an eye on everything for you today. It's the D-backs and the Dodgers in a pretty good representative lineup here for Dave Roberts' ball club. They are playing a split squad game today. The other half of the Dodgers are taking on the Royals at Camelback Ranch.
That's a team we're going to get very familiar with by the end of the season, the Los Angeles Dodgers in the National League West. Logan Forsythe will lead it off and play second base. Corey Seager at shortstop. Andre Ethier is serving as a designated hitter this afternoon. Scott Van Slyke will be down at first base with Jock Peterson in center field. Andrew Tolles out in right field. Austin Barnes doing the catching for the Dodgers with Charlie Culberson at third base, and Saguaro High School in Tucson product Alex Verdugo playing left field.
Dodgers are 5-1 on the spring so far. This is their first split squad game of the year and the first season as D-back skipper for Torey Lovullo.
Now, these split squad games, the Dodgers playing one today, and it's something that's part of the spring training routine now. Teams play a game in the afternoon, they come back and play another game at night, but the manager and the coaches and the trainers have a doubleheader on those split squad days.
Well, this is a date that's been talked about for several weeks in camp right now. When is Zack Greinke going to get out there? Well, here he is, the right-hander, who's already been named the D-backs opening day starter. That's April 2nd against the Giants at Chase Field. Today, he's against his former team, the Dodgers, making his first spring training start this year. He is on, we are told, his own schedule.
Well, and as we mentioned in the open, that's not unusual for a veteran pitcher with a track record like Zack Greinke's. He faced the Dodgers 3 times last year, one pretty good, a couple not so hot, but that was very late in the season. Zack won 13 games for the Diamondbacks last year. 10 of those came in the first half. He really kind of hit the wall in the second half of the season.
Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks around Zack Greinke. Our eye on defense for the D-backs is brought to you by Nationwide Vision Centers.
Jeremy Hazel-Baker will be out in center field today. Gregor Blanco in left with Socrates Brito over in right field. A lot of good speed out there in that outfield today. Jake Lamb will be at third base with Chris Owings and Daniel Descalso making up the double play combo up the middle. Paul Goldschmidt down at his customary first base position. Jeff Mathis getting the nod behind the plate today for right-hander Zack Greinke.
We have a 4-man umpiring crew this afternoon. Rob Drake is your home plate umpire. The base umpires will rotate from inning to inning. Brian Gorman, Jordan Baker, and Tom Woodring first to third.
I mentioned that Zack Greinke started against the Dodgers 3 times last year, and looking at the pitch effect stats, first time he faced him, he threw a lot of off-speed pitches, a lot of slow curveballs, a lot of change-ups, and got banged around pretty good. So the next couple times it was a lot more fastball and slider. That's the thing about Zack Greinke. His arsenal is so varied that depending on what's working on a given day, you may see him throw a lot more off-speed pitches, but when he's got that fastball-slider combination working, that's his bread and butter.
The new second baseman and the new leadoff man for Dave Roberts' Dodgers. Over from the Tampa Bay Rays, it's Logan Forsythe. And he steps in. We are set to go. The D-backs and the Dodgers from Salt River Field to Talking Stick in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. And they are strike one.
He's fine.
We mentioned that Greinke is being slow played. That's the term that Torey Lovullo keeps using this spring, sort of easing into his Cactus League workload. So he's about a week behind the rest of the starting pitchers. Some of those guys already have made their second starts of this spring. This is Greinke's first. He stays ahead of Forsythe, 0-2.
Yeah, a lot of things to keep an eye on if you're a member of Torey Lovullo's staff. Any spring training game. Obviously today Zack Greinke is going to draw a lot of the attention out there on the mound while he's on the field, but I like to keep an eye on Jeff Mathis behind the plate. Much has been made about the Diamondbacks' change in philosophy behind the plate. That one's fouled out of play. Go with more defense-minded catchers, guys that have good framing statistic, guys that don't move around excessively behind home plate, can throw well, can block well, and certainly Jeff Mathis fits that bill.
They have emphasized defense in the catching position, likely to carry 3 catchers this year with Jeff Mathis, Chris Iannetta, And Chris Herman, Forsythe drives this one out to Gregor Blanco, the former Giant, in left field, and he runs it down. Time now, BB. It's the first of the year. Your Valley Honda dealers, key to the game.
Well, we've talked a lot about it already. Slow playing Zach Greinke's preparation for the 2017 season. There's really no rush. I don't think they give a Cy Young award for the Cactus League. I don't think he has any incentives in his contract for innings pitched in the Cactus League. The bottom line is getting him ready for opening day. So this is step one here today.
Here's the shortstop, Corey Seager. Diamondbacks have the shift on. They overload the right-hand side, and there's ball one to Seager. A remarkable rookie season last year, only 22 years old. He hit .308, 40 doubles, 26 home runs, and was the unanimous National League Rookie of the Year. But Seager has missed the Dodgers' last 3 games. He's had a right shin bruise after fouling off a pitch earlier not too long ago. Both Forsythe and Seager, for that matter, have been out for a while. They've missed most of the Dodgers games this week. Greinke behind 2 balls and no strikes.
One thing we noticed right away about Corey Seager was his tremendous demeanor on the field. You hear players talk all the time about don't get too high, don't get too low, don't want to get on that roller coaster, and Seager is about as even-keeled a player as I've ever seen. You can't tell whether he's 4 for 4 or 0 for 4. Every day out there grinding away.
He does carry himself with sort of an advanced maturity. He seems to be a finished product already, and he's only 22. He'll turn 23 next month. Andre Ethier back from injury as the DH. He's on deck. This is headed for the D-backs bullpen and out of play. Boy, what a year it was for Seager. He was 3rd in the NL MVP voting. And as the season wore on, he showed very little signs of wearing down. He hit just under 300 the first half of the year, but after the All-Star break, hit better than 320. Full count now, 3-2. Got him. Chased a high fastball. First strikeout of the year for Zach Greinke, 2 down.
Yeah, gets Seager to chasing up the ladder fastball that time. Pitch up there around letter high, outside part of the plate with a little tailing action.
Well, you may recall we had a televised game here against the Dodgers last spring, and Andre Ethier fouled the ball off of his leg, suffered a broken right tibia, and didn't play his first game last year until September 10th. But he is back and good to go. 208 with a home run so far. Those are his numbers last year. He only played in 16 games. Does have a home run this spring. And there's strike one. Ethier 2 for 6 so far on the spring. And you can see the new analytics department run by Mike Fitzgerald, who was brought over by the Diamondbacks from the Pittsburgh Pirates. So this is a very analytically inclined group, and we'll see a lot of overshifts. That's it. Which is the term Torey Lovello likes to use, overshifting this year.
Yeah, especially with a guy like Zach Greinke on the mound. Now, granted, his first outing of the Cactus League, his command may not be as fine as it will be later this season, but when you have a pitcher that can hit his spots, it really allows you to overshift defensively.
That's it. Because you're trying to get the batter to hit it to a certain area of the field, and the pitch needs to be in a precise location.
Absolutely. If you're going to play this kind of a defensive overshift to the right side of the field, it doesn't make a lot of sense to throw hard stuff off the plate away where Ethier's liable to hit the ball to the opposite field. Ideally, you get him to put the ball in play weakly into the teeth of your defense. That's the whole reason for the overshift or overplay, whatever you want to call it.
D-backs have Chris Owings in the shortstop spot. Jake Lamb, the third baseman. He's over on the first base side of second. There's a ball, and it's a full count to Ethier, 3-2. Scott Van Slyke, the first baseman today, is on deck. Adrian Gonzalez not here with the Dodgers. He's trying to get his elbow right to participate in the World Baseball Classic starting next week. And there's a 2-out walk to Ethier. Gonzalez suffering from tennis elbow so far in the spring, but he's been given the go-ahead to play in that event. So a 2-out base runner for Scott Van Slyke, the big right-hander. 4 for 8 on the year. His numbers last year, .225 with a home run.
Did you notice Scott Van Slyke took a peek down to the bullpen to see if perhaps Wade Miley was warming up?
Wade Miley's having a tough day already pitching for the Orioles down in Florida, but yeah. Boy, Scott Van Slyke used to torture Wade Miley.
Yeah, he had the pink slip on Wade, no question about it. He owned it.
Van Slyke just over 50 games with the Dodgers last year. Didn't contribute a whole lot offensively. Although his only home run last year came against Patrick Corbin in June. That was at Chase Field. Pressure is on some of these Dodger right-hand hitters this year. They were the worst team in baseball against left-hand pitching last season. And so offensively, a lot of the emphasis for LA and Dave Roberts' ball club has to get better from the right side of the plate. It's one of the reasons they acquired Logan Forsythe to play second base. A right-hand hitter.
Diamondbacks doing just the opposite, looking for some left-handed balance to their offense.
If you were a left-hand hitting outfielder, the Diamondbacks at one point probably gave you a call. They have a number of candidates here, all left-hand hitters. Two of them in the lineup today with Blanco in left and Hazelbaker in center. Jason Pridey, another guy, fits that list. He homered here last night. Mathis the throw, and it's in plenty of time to get Andre Ethier. That ends the inning. Jeff Mathis, one of the new D-backs catchers behind the plate. Diamondbacks coming up against Brandon McCarthy. With us on the left of your screen there with D-backs president and CEO Derek Hall and Tommy Lasorda, BB, in the house today here at Salt River Field.
Yeah, we're used to seeing Tommy sit down behind the on-deck circle at Dodger Stadium on the third base side, but he's up here with the press box today. We like him up here.
On the mound for LA, Brandon McCarthy, the former Diamondback, his first start this spring. He got a 4-year, $48 million free agent contract, but because of a Tommy John injury, McCarthy has been able to pitch in only 14 games over the first 2 years of that deal, but he's healthy now and ready to go.
Yeah, 10 games last season after a slow start because of that Tommy John surgery. They came back and then suffered a hip injury that put him on the shelf for the remainder of the season. Kind of a very abbreviated season last year for Brandon McCarthy.
Well, one of the guys competing for a left-hand hitting role in the outfield on the Diamondback bench steps in now. The former Giant Gregor Blanco, starting in left field, and he takes a strike. 1-1 on Blanco. His numbers last year with the Giants, .224 and a homer. Signed a minor league deal with the D-backs back in January. Trying to win a reserve outfield job. We have a number of candidates for that job, and Blanco and Hazelbaker. Jason Pridey, a left-hand bat, as we mentioned, homered in the ball game here last night against the Cubs. Some other guys in the mix as well. Osvaldo Arcia, who's played a lot so far this spring. That's to third. Charlie Culberson is there. One away. Your lineup for Torey Lovello's Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah, we've seen Gregor Blanco at the top. He'll be out in left field today. Daniel Descalso making his way to the plate. He'll be the second baseman. He'll be followed by Paul Goldschmidt at first base. Jake Lamb down at third. Chris Owings at shortstop. Jeremy Hazelbaker out in center field. Haven't been able to say this an awful lot. The DH will be Nick Ahmed, Socrates Brito in right field, and Jeff Mathis doing the catching for Zach Greinke.
Daniel Descalso, the former Cardinal and Rocky, picked up by the D-backs in early February. Diamondbacks traded Phil Gosselin to the Pittsburgh Pirates for a minor league pitcher, Frank Duncan, and Descalso was brought in ostensibly to sort of be that guy that Phil Gosselin has been lately. But Gosselin a little more attractive to the D-backs because he bats left-handed and he can play shortstop, two things that Phil Gosselin really doesn't do. And Descalso's been playing a lot of first base this spring. He's in there at second today. He will play for Team Italy in the World Baseball Classic, so they expect him to play second base for the Italian team. Torey Lovello trying to get Descalso a few reps down there at second before he heads off to the WBC.
Should Daniel Descalso end up being that utility guy off the bench, the left-handed bat that can play multiple positions, it's something he's certainly had a lot of experience doing. You like filling that role with a guy who has done it before and shown success in doing it, because it's not an easy role. Play one position one day, sit for 2 or 3 days, play a different position the next day, come off the bench to pinch hit late in a ball game against the best relief pitchers the other team has, and that's something Daniel Descalso has excelled with.
He knocks it into center, a base hit. Our eye on defense for the Dodgers, brought to you by Nationwide Vision Center.
Left to right across the outfield, it'll be Verdugo, Peterson, and Tolles. Across the infield, Charlie Culberson at third. Seager and Forsythe make up the double play combination up the middle, with Scott Van Slyke at first base and Austin Barnes doing the catching today for right-hander Brandon McCarthy.
Speaking of the WBC, Paul Goldschmidt will be playing for Team USA, so we'll lose Goldie next week for a while. Last year, 297 and 24 homers.
Well, he is, after all, America's first baseman.
You can't have a Team USA without America's first baseman. I think that's in the deal. Goldie 4 for 10 so far on the spring, couple of RBIs. He's got Descalso at first and 1 out. All right, Matt. Goldie last year finished outside the top 10 in the National League in RBIs, batting average, outside the top 25 in homers and doubles, so you don't want to get too worked up about it, but it was something of an off year for Goldie. Certainly went through a couple of slumps at different points in the year.
And I think that tells you how high he set the bar with his past performances, to have a season like he did last year and to view it somewhat as an off season for Paul Goldschmidt. That's is mind-boggling.
Coming off his 4th consecutive All-Star season. Just outside the top 10 in the league MVP voting. He gets this one in the air, a deep drive to right field. Tolles at the wall. And there it goes. Paul Goldschmidt, his first home run this spring, and it's 2-0 Diamondbacks. How are we looking?
Well, Zach Greinke with a clean first inning and Paul Goldschmidt with a home run. I think we're ready.
That's right. Bring on the Giants.
Yeah. Good to see Goldie flexing his muscles a little bit here early in camp, especially to the opposite field. That looked like a pretty good slider down and out over the plate. He just mashes it over the head of Andrew Tolles out there in right field. Thought he had a beat on it initially, but that ball got out of here easily.
An early 2-0 lead against Brandon McCarthy, and here's the third baseman batting cleanup today. It's Jake Lamb. Dodgers have the shift on, and there's ball 1. Jake last year, 29 home runs and 91 RBIs. He was second on the Diamondbacks in both categories. And he's had a good spring so far, 4 for 5 with a homer. And this, we hope, certainly, that is the year that Jake Lamb is the primary third baseman. That's what Torey Lovello is looking for. Just get him in there every day, regardless of right-hand pitcher or left-hand pitcher. They believe he is an everyday player, and for good reason.
And he has shown that throughout the course of his career, especially last season. He had some stretches where he really put together good at-bats against left-handed pitching. Didn't always result in a hit, but seemed to show a better knowledge of the strike zone against some lefties, put the ball in play hard against other lefties. That's something he's going to have to battle his whole career. I don't know why left-handed hitters have so much more trouble handling left-handed pitchers than right-handed hitters handle right-handed pitchers, but it seems to be a fact in this game, and Yeah, guys will either battle their way through it and come out the other side as a polished hitter, or they'll struggle throughout their entire career.
Chopped to the other side. They retire Lamb for the second out. Corey Seager over there with a shift on against Lamb. 2 down now for Chris Owings, the shortstop today. Dodgers have a whole lot of candidates behind Clayton Kershaw and Rich Hill for their rotation. They got about 7 other guys besides those two, and Kazmir and Ryu and McCarthy, and on goes the list. Owings 277 last year, 5 home runs. Think of all the position battles, BB. If you picked each spot around the diamond for the Diamondbacks, I'd see shortstop is the one where you're not quite sure who it's going to be. They have Owings. They have Ahmed, who's the DH. They also have Ketel Marte, who came over with Taijuan Walker in the Segura deal. So it's been rotating shortstop so far this spring.
And certainly his willingness to play other positions really helped the ball club last year. I'm speaking of Chris Owings, but yeah, obviously this year he wants to earn a spot, an everyday role at that shortstop position if he can.
Up into that light sky. They got it surrounded, and Van Slyke corrals it in foul ground. That ends the inning. But Descalso singles. Goldie homers. It's 2-0 Diamondbacks in Scottsdale. This spring has given the Diamondbacks a 2-0 lead. Zach Greinke out there for the second inning against Scott Van Slyke, the Dodgers first baseman. Van Slyke was at the plate when Andre Ethier was caught stealing to end the top of the first. Our first spring training game this year on Fox Sports Arizona. BB and I will do 10 games. We'll pick up a couple of others along the way. And then an all-time high, BB, this year for 2 of us, 161 games. One of those games will be on Fox Sports 1.
Yeah. We call it a grind for a reason.
So a lot of D-backs on TV for you in 2017. Just inside, 2 balls and a strike. How was the off season?
Is it over yet? Chasing granddaughters around. That was the extent of my off season, and babysitting dogs.
You may be able to field the whole baseball team of granddaughters the way you're going.
Pretty soon, especially if I hooked up with another former catcher, Terry Kennedy. I ran into him earlier today, former Padre catcher. Terry Kennedy has 7 granddaughters, no grandsons. I have 4 with no grandsons.
What is it about you catchers?
I don't know. Something about the equipment, I'm sure.
Hazelbaker in center has it. Jeremy Hazelbaker is an interesting guy. Had a very good first half of the year last year with the St. Louis Cardinals. And Diamondbacks picked him up. He bats left-handed. He can play center field, runs the bases very well. So He's definitely got to watch this spring.
Yeah, we only saw a little bit of Hazelbaker last year, but I liked what I saw. He seems to be a very well-schooled player, very disciplined, knows what he can and can't do out there, and a guy that can play all three outfield positions is very valuable to a team, especially guys that swing from the left side of the plate.
See Jock Peterson last year, 25 homers, a career-high 68 RBIs. And the Diamondbacks have the shift on. They overload the right-hand side. Chris Owings all by himself on the left side of the infield. This is bounced to first for Goldie. 2 down.
For the first time this year, we're able to say Goldie takes it himself.
Get used to that.
Yes, indeed. I've always loved that about Paul Goldschmidt. Why risk a throw, even if it's the most routine play in the world and it's one of the first fundamentals teams practice in spring training is the pitcher getting over to cover first base on a grounder to the right side. But why risk a throw? If you can beat that runner to the bag, take it yourself.
And it's not the case here against these left-hand hitters, but for a guy who plays so often so far off the line like Goldie does, it makes it even more remarkable. Here's Andrew Toles. 2 for 10 on the spring. He saw the numbers last year. 314 with 3 homers. Braden Shipley is warming up at the Diamondback bullpen, so this figures to be Greinke's last inning. Shipley competing for a 5th starter spot along with Patrick Corbin and Archie Bradley. Boy, did Archie look good yesterday against the Padres, and Shelby Miller last night was absolutely dynamite against the Cubs. So Shipley will come on, we presume, in the 3rd inning for Arizona. The 1-1 to Toles.
I always like to read the newspaper reports in spring training. You get a guy that goes out there and gets his brains beat in a little bit, can't find the strike zone, walks a bunch of guys. I'm just getting ready for the season. Ball felt good coming out of my hand.
I've read a few of those quotes this spring so far.
Yeah. Then you get a guy that goes out there and deals, and oh yeah, I feel ready. I'm ready to go.
Both seem somewhat optimistic. Austin Barnes, the Sun Devil, is on deck. Toles rolls it the other way. Owings in the hole. He won't make the throw. Toles with good speed. No chance to get him. First hit for the Dodgers.
Nice play to get to it by Chris Owings, and even better play not to risk a throw right there. Kind of lost his footing a little bit. He was off balance. Very little chance of making an accurate throw against a speedy runner like Andrew Toles. So this is absolutely the right decision. These are the decisions you like to see your everyday shortstop make. Know when to try to make the amazing play and know when to stick it in your pocket.
33 pitches has been enough for Torey Lovullo. Zack Greinke will exit in the 2nd. Here comes Braden Shipley back in a moment. Well, the Diamondbacks lead the Dodgers 2-0, courtesy of a Paul Goldschmidt 2-run homer in the 1st inning. And on in relief of Zack Greinke here in the 2nd, it's Braden Shipley. D-backs first pick in the 2013 draft. He worked 70 innings as a rookie last year after his call up to the big leagues near the end of July. And there's been some question here with Shipley battling for a 5th starter spot in the rotation that he may be best served, and the Diamondbacks may be best served by having him work out of the bullpen.
And you know Braden Shipley has a preference, but He's a very wise young man. He said, whatever the ball club needs me to do, that's what I will do to the best of my ability. So Braden Shipley just looking for a spot on this roster and figures that his performance will either earn him a spot in that rotation at some point, or he'll continue to pitch well out of the bullpen.
And Torey Lovullo has already spoken with Braden about that, maybe working as a reliever when they leave spring training. But for the moment, Braden is going to compete as a starter in camp, Torey says. The coaches are also going to take a look at all their options in the bullpen. And the bullpen is a major rebuild, let's be honest about that. So you've got a pitcher like Shipley. If he's a 6th or 7th starter, why not put him in the bullpen and see how it goes for a while?
He too showed some flashes of brilliance at times last year. At other times looked like a young pitcher at the major league level, struggling, but certainly a lot to like about Braden Shipley.
There's Austin Barnes, the catcher today. Andrew Tolles at first base after a 2-out single. He's got very good speed down there. Austin Barnes out of Riverside, California, played at ASU. Shipley keeps an eye on Tolles, a 9th round pick by the Marlins in the 2011 draft out of Arizona State. First time in a while that the Dodgers have not had a veteran catcher back there. For a long time was A.J. Ellis. And for a while last year they had Chooch Carlos Ruiz. But with Yasmani Grandal switch hitting, they like Austin Barnes, it seems, as the backup. So he might get some playing time, a versatile guy down there. Also plays some infield.
You mentioned the speed of Tolles down there at first base. That's something the Diamondbacks catching staff has done a real good job this year. Ethier got gunned down to end that first inning. That was the 5th base stealer the Diamondbacks have caught this year against 7 stolen bases.
This is hit the other way for Socrates Brito, who runs it down, and Braden Shipley retires the side in the 2nd following the Tolles single. We'll talk to the freight train. David Peralta coming up. Fields at Talking Stick. The D-backs hosting the Dodgers. It's a 2-0 Arizona lead after a Goldie 2-run homer in the first. Jeremy Hazelbaker will lead off the bottom of the 2nd against Brandon McCarthy, and we are very pleased to be joined from the dugout by the freight train, who's back on the tracks, David Peralta. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing, guys?
We're doing great. We're thrilled that you're back, man. We missed you.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad to be back too. I miss you guys too.
I lost my whistle, David. I had the train whistle up here in the booth.
Oh, okay. Well, you got to keep it with you because this year you're going to use it a lot.
Nah, see, I like that.
I like that. I think it might be at the booth back at Chase Field. So
Okay.
come opening day, we'll be ready.
Okay.
Here's Hazelbaker to lead it off against Brandon McCarthy. Trying to bunt for a base hit. So, David, what was the offseason like for you in terms of your preparation? What were you able to do? What did you have to wait to do to get healthy coming off the surgery?
Well, it was a lot of rehabbing. You know, after the season, I had to stay here for like 6 weeks to do all my rehab and exercise for my wrist. So I spent most of the off season, trying to put everything together and take my time to put a lot of dedication to my wrist to be 100% that I feel right now. So I didn't take too much time off, just probably 1 week that I went out with my wife to a little vacation to the Dominican to get relaxed. But most of the time I was, getting ready because I didn't play that much last year, so I want to be ready 100% this year to help the team.
But from what I understand, you were told now, okay, with the wrist injury and the surgery, you have to make sure that you're totally healed 100% before you start. Otherwise, you could have a relapse. Was it hard to stay patient like that for a while?
Well, before the surgery, the doctor told me, hey, it's going to be a long and slow process for the rehab, and so you have to be a lot of patient. So I was kind of ready for that. I set up my mind and say, okay, we got plenty time to do it, not rush and everything. So I was ready for that. The doctor gave me this heads up and said, hey, you have to be patient. It's going to be one of those days you're not going to feel great and all this stuff, but everything's good. So the surgery, the doctor did a great job, and all the trainers, they helped me out to get better, to get my hand strong. I mean, they did an unbelievable job.
Here's Nick Ahmed.
David, are you able to swing the bat the way you did before the injury? Sometimes when guys have hand or wrist injuries, it changes their swing a little bit mechanically. Are you able to swing the way you did before the injury?
Oh, even better. Last year it was kind of like my hand was kind of bothering me a lot, so my swing was kind of off. But this time, like, I feel 100%. I think that's the little thing or big thing that I have to fix. So it's all good right now. I'm swinging 100%, and I feel good. That's a good thing.
I saw you went to the axe handle bat, right? Jake Lamb uses that, and Chris Owings. It's a bat with the handle shaped like an axe rather than that round knob. Does that really help that much? Yeah,
I mean, well, the guy told me last year. I was talking with Lamb and with the CEO. Chris Owen, he told me about the handle, and it helped a little bit on this part of my hand, and why not? I'm gonna try the off season to swing on it, and it feels really good. And help to release more of my hands and keep through the ball too.
Now I saw on the Twitter that you're going to be a dad, huh? Congratulations,
Hey,
you and Jordan.
Thank you.
You're going to have some little freight trains running around.
Yeah, it's a girl.
Oh,
so
okay, great.
Yep, it's a girl. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. She's 4 months right now, so healthy baby. So I can't wait to the baby comes out. It's pretty excited. It's a big step in my life for me and for my wife. So we can wait.
Everybody, I mean, Chris Owings got married. Goldie became a dad last year. Now David and Jordan. I mean, it's part of the D-backs family.
Exactly. We're a big family here.
Here's Socrates Brito. Now, David, how often are you going to get to play this spring? I mean, do you have an idea of your schedule from tour? Or just show up every day and read the lineup card?
Well, I think like for everybody, I played 2 games in a row, so I'm off today. So probably I'm going to play another 2 or 3 games in a row. And it's kind of like a normal, like we did last year. I think it's about the same. I'm playing 100%. I have nothing. Like with the trainer, they told me, hey, you're good to go. So whatever day I'm going to play, I'll be ready.
David, not a lot of changes to the roster this year, but there are a few new guys and some familiar faces are gone. We'll go to a break here and come back, and I'll finish the question to you.
5 in a row retired by Brandon McCarthy following the Goldie homer. Back with David Peralta from Scottsdale after this. It's 2-0 Diamondbacks.
Spots the Diamondbacks to a 2-0 lead as we head to the top half of the third inning. You're talking with David Peralta right now, and I started to ask you a question about a few new guys on the team. You lost a few familiar faces, but what's the vibe like around the team? New manager, a couple new coaches, and some new players.
Hey, it's really good. I mean, it's really good. Soon the spin trying to start. We're just talking about together, family. We're a big family, a lot of good communication. So we got new guys, a lot of experience, which is good for us. We're a young team, and we with this help we're going to have from Descalso, we got Heselberger, we got Blanco, guys that being around. And I think it's going to help. And the best part is we're all healthy. So I think it's going to be a pretty good season for us, and we're going to have a lot of fun too this year.
Braden Shipley starts the top of the third against Dodgers third baseman Charlie Culberson as we talk to the freight train, David Peralta, from the dugout here at Salt River Fields, a talking stick. What was the speech like that Torey Lovullo gave, David, on the first day that everybody was in camp? That's always a big moment for any skipper and any team. There's a little broken bat bloop that Descalso tracked down. So Torey finally gets in there and they close the door, and it's just the players and the coaches. What was his speech like?
Hey, the first thing he said, hey, we're a family. We're here to compete. We're going to play. We're going to back out each other. We're going to be all together. We're going to win together. If we lose, we're going to lose together. And so a lot of good communication. And I mean, it's really good. I mean, so far it's been a great guy and everything. I like him a lot. But that's the big thing. We say, hey, we're a family. We're going to be all together. We're going to play together, play hard. And this is all about.
There's Tucson's Alex Verdugo, the left fielder, batting ninth. Hey, he seems to be, that's always been his reputation, David, Torey Lovullo, as a relationship builder. And when you talk to him, you just think, wow, this guy's really, he's just kind of chill. He's very easygoing, very relaxed. And it seems like he sort of cultivates that type of relationship with his players. Is that true?
Oh, yeah. I met him before in November last year when I was here, and I had a time to talk to him. We you know, in conversation, idea, and he was really good. I really like him, and the chemistry that he influence to you, it's really good, and it's something that you need, like from the manager, from the coaching staff, and everything. You need that support and that comfort, which is good.
1-2 on Alex Verdugo. This is hit hard, right by a diving goal to get into right field, a one-out single. David, we're told that in the starting outfield this year, at least, Yasmani Tomas will play left field, and you'll be in right field. It's been a little different than it's been the last couple of years. How's right field for you? Does it make a difference at all?
No, I like it. I mean, I can play. I told the guys, hey, I can play. I just want to play. Wherever you guys are going to put me, I'm going to do my job. I was playing right field last year, and I feel really comfortable. I think it's more easy for a lefty to play in the right field because of my glove size and the gap and all this stuff. But, I mean, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I made my adjustment. They just told me I want to play right field, and I'm ready to go. Whatever. I said, whatever you're going to need me, I'm going to do my job. I just want to play, be in a lineup, and do my best to help the team to win some games.
There's Logan Forsythe, the leadoff man. He flying out his first time up against Zach Greinke. Can you get the freight train logo on the bottom of those axe handle bats like you had last year? It's a smaller knob.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get it. I'm just waiting for I think the company is going to send me, the bat that I'm using, they're going to send me some logo. So we'll see. Hopefully when the season started, we'll be ready.
Hey, David, last year spent a lot of time on the disabled list, on the bench watching, or at home watching on TV when the team was on the road. Were you able to learn anything about your game or about your teammates that maybe you can use to help you guys get better this year?
Well, for me, it was a hard time. You know, last year I didn't get to play that much. It was a lot of, like you say, watching at home, and I was watching like in the dugout. It was kind of tough for me because I always want to be playing, do something to help the team. But I learned a lot from those guys that we have to be together. We stick together. Even like when AJ got hurt too, he was spending all time in the dugout trying to help, because sometimes you see a little stuff, a little thing on TV, or when you're watching the game on the bench, there's some guys that don't see during the game because it's hard. The game's going too fast. So, you know, trying to do those little things to help your teammates and say, hey, these guys doing this, the pitcher or either defense, that helps. So just, you know, it's a learning process, and the more that play, the more everybody play, the better we're going to get.
Well, David, we got a little overtime from you. We went more than a half inning, and we appreciate your patience with us.
Thank you.
It was great to talk to you. We'll let you get back and enjoy the game. David
right.
Peralta.
Thank you, guys.
Good to see you back, David.
All right.
Boy, is it ever, huh? One injury after another last year. David on and off the DL 3 different times last season with that wrist problem.
Really tough to get any continuity offensively, even though the ball club did put up good offensive numbers. You just wonder how much better it could have been, you know, with a healthy David Peralta and a healthy A.J. Pollock in that lineup on an everyday basis.
And you start going around the rest of the field. He had Greinke missed 6 weeks and then missed the end of the season last year. And everybody was out, it seemed, with one ailment or another. 2-2 on Logan Forsythe. Slaps that one into shallow right field. Verdugo stops at second. A couple of one-out singles for the Dodgers against Braden Shipley.
Forsythe just kind of massaged that ball out into shallow right field. Had a big hole on the right side of the infield. Was looking for a pitch out away that he could just kind of shoot that direction. It wasn't much of a hit, but it'll go as a knock in the box score.
So 2 on 1 out for Corey Seager, who struck out his first time up against Zack Greinke. Braden Shipley had a rough spring training debut over the weekend here against the Rockies. He allowed 3 runs, 3 hits, and a walk in less than 2 innings. Gave up a long leadoff homer to Colorado's Charlie Blackmon, and things kind of went downhill from there. But as you mentioned earlier, Bob, he was asked about it and said just first-time jitters. That was why he was ineffective. Hadn't pitched in a game in 4 or 5 months. He was rushing a little bit, he felt, with his delivery. So today, really looking to slow things down out there, which I imagine is hard to do for a pitcher who hasn't been on a mound in a game in almost half a year.
Well, especially when you know what's on the line. You're pitching for your career, hopefully a spot in the rotation, if not a spot in that bullpen. And you realize that every pitch you throw is being analyzed and looked at and charted and replayed. It's certainly understandable for young players to have some nerves in spring training. First time around, you want to impress some of the new coaches. You want to impress your new manager. And I think Braden's played enough baseball that once you get those butterflies out of the way, get that first appearance out of the way, you'd like to see him settle in and throw those good quality strikes we saw him throw last year.
Missed inside to Seager, and he's behind 3 balls and 1 strike.
And this is not all bad to see a little bit of a 2-out jam here for Braden Shipley, actually a 1-out jam. You want to see your pitchers get into some trouble in spring training to see if they can get themselves out of the trouble. Do they know how to pitch around traffic on the bases? And he's going to have to do it here against the middle of the Dodgers order here at the ballpark today. Corey Seager, Andre Ethier, and Scott Van Slyke, should we get that far. But for Torey Lovullo, he wants to see all these pitchers in a tough situation. How do they respond? Am I going to have to go to the bullpen if this guy gets in this situation during the regular season, or is he the kind of pitcher that'll figure it out and execute those pitches he needs to get out of the inning?
Full count on the Dodgers shortstop, 3-2. Verdugo at second, Forsythe at first. They hold, and Seager hits a little roller to second base. They're able to get 1 and 2. Seager's had a bruised shin, not running very well up the line, and Shipley gets the double play ball and gets out of a jam. It's 2-0 Diamondbacks. seasons in the big leagues. He's a career 197 hitter, but he is here for his defense, BB.
Yeah, when you're a career 197 hitter, you stick around that long because you're an exceptional defensive catcher. Really, really quick exchange from the glove into the throwing hand. The throw right over the top got really good carry. That's his calling card.
Oh, Brandon McCarthy in his first start of the spring went 2 innings for LA, gave up 2 runs on 2 hits, and now here to start the third is the left-hander Edward Paredes. 13 starts in the minor leagues this year, 3 wins and an ERA just over 4.5. And Mathis will lead it off for the Diamondbacks, who lead it 2-zip. Jeff Mathis will be 34 years old by the time we get to opening day, but he got a 2-year deal. And we talked about how the new regime, Mike Hazen and Emil Sade, Jared Porter, the new front office really emphasizing, along with Mike Fitzgerald, who runs the analytics department, defense behind the plate. They are, after all, the only defender who touches the ball on every pitch.
Every pitch, and the only defender that sees everybody else on the field in front of them. Without turning their head, they can see their other 8 teammates out there on the field.
And the expectation, says Torey Lovullo, is that Mathis will catch around 60 games over the course of the year. They have Chris Iannetta and Chris Herman as well. Other catchers are here, guys like Hank Conger and Josh Tolley. So there are a number of options, but it's very likely, it seems, that the D-backs go with 3 catchers this year, at least when they break camp.
And another catcher that figures to be in the mix as we move forward, Oscar Hernandez, with a home run already this spring.
Hit a long home run here last night. Got the start behind the plate against the Cubs. 2-2 on Mathis. And Torey Lovullo is familiar with Jeff Mathis. They were together for 1 year in Toronto, and Mathis caught for the Blue Jays, and Torey was a coach there with John Farrell. Another part of Jeff Mathis's makeup that they really like, besides the catching metrics, is the leadership. And this is a guy that really tries to establish relationships and trust. Very important to the clubhouse and important to Torey Lovullo. Mathis went out of his way to do that in Miami, where he's been playing for the Marlins lately. And I think, Bob, it's fair to say that leadership was lacking with this Diamondback ball club last year. There was no clear leader on the field. That type of sort of guy to rally everybody together. And Mathis may be that guy this year, along with a few others.
You know, that particular role with the ball club, I feel that's where they really missed A.J. Pollock last year. Obviously, you miss his numbers, you miss his defense, you miss what he does on and off the field. But A.J. was starting to show some signs that he would be one of those guys that not afraid to get in the grill of an opposing player or an umpire or whatever the case may be. It was very clear that A.J. felt like because of his performance and because of his experience with this team, he was getting more comfortable with that leadership role, and then of course got hurt at the end of spring training, and we didn't really get to see him until the end of the season. And I think that leadership was really missed. But it's always good when it comes from the catcher's position. You know, a guy that you kind of straddle the fence because you're a position player, you're an offensive player, you hang out with those guys, but your main responsibility is handling the pitching staff. So a guy that's able to balance those 2 things well and get the best out of your pitchers and still provide good defense and occasional offense, those guys are very valuable.
And Mathis works a leadoff walk here in the third. Diamondbacks really emphasizing catching. Robbie Hammock has been brought up to the major league staff. He will coach the catchers with a big emphasis on pitch framing, which is something we hear a lot about in recent years. Here's Gregor Blanco. So Robbie, who's been managing in the minor league system, is now part of the big league coaching staff. J.R. House will take over. It's a Double-A Jackson, the new Double-A affiliate, after moving from Mobile. But it's good to have Robbie Hammock with us at the big league level. We'll talk to him a lot over the course of the year, I'm sure.
Big shoes to fill for Robbie Hammock, and I'm sure he's up to the task. Glenn Sherlock, an original Diamondbacks with the New York Mets now as a third base coach. It seems odd not to have Sherles around in spring training.
It's funny, when he walked out the other day and saw Tyler Jones come on to pitch, the Rule 5 pitcher they got from the Yankees, wearing number 53. And he thought he's only the second guy in Diamondbacks history ever to wear 53. Scherles has had that since day one.
Good point.
2-0 to Blanco, the former Giant. 3 balls and no strikes. And Paredes is having problems finding the strike zone. Blanco, a minor league deal with the D-backs in January. And of course, we know how good he's been in that sort of reserve outfield role for Bruce Bochy in recent seasons. Tim Flannery, the former Giants coach, has always described him as the perfect extra outfielder.
We talked about it a little bit earlier with Daniel Descalso, a veteran bench player that plays multiple positions. And Blanco, although strictly an outfielder, he fits that description as well. A guy that's had a lot of very high pressure at bats in his career. He's been a 4th outfielder for the Giants. He's played a lot of key ball games. Big part of Bruce Bochy's offense up there in San Francisco when he was in the lineup.
And a left-hand bat. They need to get a little more left-handed. And he's a guy who hits lefties, Blanco. Does pretty well against left-handers. Here's Descalso, who singled and scored. Came in the Goldie homer. It's 2-0. 2 on, nobody out. Joe's bunt pulls back and takes ball 1. Culberson running in from third there, and Van Slyke from first. Tony Perez-Chica, the new third base coach this year. Boy, he has been a really good soldier in the Diamondbacks minor league system for years and years now. Every camp, every summer league thing, every winter league thing, Tony has been heavily involved, and now here he is coaching third at the big league level for the first time. Boy, Paredes, after a 4-pitch walk to Blanco, now behind on Descalso, 2-0. Mathis at second, Blanco at first, nobody out. 3-0, he cannot throw a strike. He's walked the first 2 he's faced. He's yet to throw a strike now to Descalso with Goldie on deck. Back-to-back 4-pitch walks, 3 consecutive walks have loaded the bases for Paul Goldschmidt. And here comes Dave Roberts. This was Goldie in the first against Brandon McCarthy.
Yeah, you don't even need to see this. Our Chaz Roberts, cool play of the game. Paul Goldschmidt's 2-run homer back in the first. You don't even need to see that to know that this is trouble for the Dodgers.
He'll get a look at a new pitcher. Pitching change for LA. Goldie up with the bases loaded when we come back. Has started this third inning for LA. Faced 3 batters, walked all of them. So here's the right-hander, Fabio Castillo. You see his numbers in the minors last year. He'll work to Paul Goldschmidt with the bases full and no outs. Here in the bottom of the third, Goldie homered his first time up. Mathis is the runner at third, Blanco at second, and Descalso at first. Base hit. Mathis will score. Tony Perez Chico waves home Blanco. The throw is cut off. And it's 4-0 Diamondbacks. Goldie has driven in all 4 runs. How are we looking?
Goldie's ready to go. He's going to own that WBC. Opposite field home run, first at bat. Another good pitch, knee high outside part of the plate, and he just shoots it through that right side to drive home 2 more.
A homer and a single, 4 RBIs for Goldie. That'll bring up Jake Lamb. Jake grounded out to short his first time up. First and second, nobody out, so no shift for the Dodgers, and he hits that foul behind Dave McKay at first.
Both hits for Goldie coming to the opposite field already in this ball game. And I think back to last season, we were a little concerned with Paul Goldschmidt's ability to pull the ball. He's such a disciplined hitter, and most teams choose to work him from the middle of the plate away, so he's content to take his base hits to the opposite field. But there were times last year he got pitches that we felt, or I thought rather, that he could have pulled hard into left center or left field for extra bases, and either took them for called strikes or tried to inside out him to the opposite field.
Yeah, there were times it seemed where the cylinders weren't quite firing the way they normally do. But as usual, at the end, the numbers were there pretty much. Squirts this one the other way, and it's through. Descalso will score, 5-0. RBI for Jake Lamb. Well, that's Jake's 5th hit this spring.
Stay hot. Another opposite field hit for a Diamondbacks hitter. Pitch on the outer third of the plate, looked like a 4-seam straight fastball, and he shot it through that left side for an RBI base hit. Stay hot.
5 batters in the third for the D-backs. All 5 have reached. Here's Chris Owings, who popped up to win the first. Boy, this is easy, right? Torey Lovello, no problem. Five runs on 4 hits so far for the Diamondbacks. Here's Chris Owings, who got married in the offseason. CO tied the knot. Oh, 2. There was talk in the offseason for Mike Hazen, the new GM, that maybe it turned Chris Owings into a super utility man. Hazen came from the Boston Red Sox, where they have Brock Holt, who plays just about everywhere for the Red Sox, and Mike used that comparison with Chris Owings. Could be that kind of guy. After the way he performed in center field last year, you could play him in a corner, outfield spot, play him at shortstop, second base. Maybe a different spot every day, rather than having to have a guy, call up a guy from the minor leagues, while we saw time and time again last year. You'd already have a guy to plug in wherever you needed him, and Chris Owings, he could be that guy.
Absolutely. I was very impressed by his outfield play last year. He looked like a natural. Took good lines to the ball, showed that great speed that we see on the infield and on the bases, really able to show it in the outfield.
Base hit for CO. Here comes Goldie. Lamb heads for third. The Dodgers can't pick it up in the outfield, and Lamb will score as well. He is in there. 7-0 Diamondbacks. As Verdugo and Peterson got a little confused out there in left center.
Middle of the plate breaking ball that time from Castillo. Chris Owings bangs it into center field. kicked around a little bit out there by Jock Peterson. By the time he gets it back in, Corey Seager, I don't think, knew that Jake Lamb was trying to score. He was very casual with that relay to home plate and gave Jake enough time to get in.
Owings to second on the throw. Now 7-0 Diamondbacks. All 6 D-backs hitters in this inning have reached base safely. Here's Hazelbaker, who grounded out his first time up. Jeremy Hazelbaker, 29 years old. He'll turn 30 in August. Came up for the first time after a long minor league career last year with the Cardinals in the big leagues and put up some pretty good numbers in the first half of the year. Finished the season with 12 homers. He was a 28-year-old rookie last season. Down 0-2. Showed some power from the left-hand side with 12 homers. He had 1 home run last year that came against Zach Greinke at Chase Field. That was last April. Jake Lamb, an RBI single. Goldie, a homer and a single. He's knocked in 4. 0-2 to Hazelbaker. He's got Owings at second and still nobody out. 5 runs are in. One thing you like about Hazelbaker is that not only is he a left-hand bat, he can play center field. So that's 2 big check marks in his favor with this D-backs ball club. Hazelbaker played all 3 outfield spots in St. Louis last year, made 15 starts in center.
That really helps when you're making out your final roster at the end of spring training. If a guy can play all 3 outfield spots, or you have an infielder that can play second and short, it allows you to carry 1 guy to cover 2 positions defensively, and you can use that spot for another area of need.
This is popped up third base side. Culberson has it, and that's the first out here in the bottom of the 3rd. There's Nick Ahmed. Nick has a brother. On the other side of the field is a younger brother, Mike Ahmed, is here, part of the Dodgers traveling squad today. LA is playing a split squad game. The other half of the Dodgers playing against the Royals over at Camelback Ranch. Nick flying out his first time up, the DH today. I still think that's the most interesting call at this point of the season here on March 3rd. Is Chris Owings the shortstop? Is Nick Ahmed the shortstop? Is Ketel Marte the shortstop? Descalso can play some short as well. That seems to be the haziest position battle right now that we have. Missed upstairs, and it's 1-1.
You've seen a little more Marte than I have, but I think of those 3 guys, Nick is the superior defender. I don't know if there's a lot of argument about that. Chris Owings is very good, has good speed and a strong arm, but this is an exceptional glove at shortstop in Nick Ahmed. But when you start putting your lineup together, and at least on the surface, it doesn't appear like you're going to get a lot of offense from your catcher.
Correct.
If you play a shortstop that doesn't provide you with a lot of offense, and those 2 guys are followed in the lineup by the pitcher spot, that's a really weak bottom of the lineup. Now, if you can cover that offense by getting much more from your top 6 guys, then it's a little easier to carry a guy for his glove only and take whatever you get offensively. But these are all questions that will be answered over the next few weeks here in spring training. Everybody's going to get opportunities to take at bats, to field ground balls, and to show what they can do to the new manager.
Tough on a National League team to concede offense at 2 positions when you've got the pitcher out there as well. And you know, Nick hit .218 last year with 4 homers. We've seen him swing a hot bat from time to time, but the offense certainly has not caught up to the glove, at least not yet. 2-2 pitch. Full count, 3-2. Brito on deck.
And the makeup of your pitching staff, believe it or not, has a lot to do with who gets to play defensively behind those pitchers. If you've got a lot of ground ball pitchers that keep the ball in the infield, you may choose to go with the better defender over an offensive player at shortstop because you know how important that's going to be to your pitching staff.
Lines it right to Seager. Owen scampers back, and that's the second out. Hey fans, customize your own ticket pack with a D-backs mini plan this year. You can get the best seats for the lowest prices, including lower level tickets for opening day and series against the Cleveland Indians, Chicago Cubs, these Dodgers, and a whole lot more. Get your tickets and all your information at dbacks.com/mini-plan. And we'll see you at Chase Field starting April 2nd. We start, BB, on a Sunday this year.
How about that?
For the first time ever, because the Final Four is in town on Monday. We don't want to overload everybody with the Valley Sports here, so we'll go Sunday and then Tuesday as we open up against the Giants. Brito grounded out his first time up, the 9th man to hit here in the Arizona 3rd. Owings at second and 2 outs. Chopped over the mound. Forsythe, the second baseman, has it. 9 men bat for the Diamondbacks. 5 of them score. Through 3, they lead at 7-0. We'll talk to Shelby Miller when we come back. With you, Bob Brenly along the way. The D-backs lead the Dodgers 7-0. And BB, you and I were here last night for the night game against the Cubs, and what a show Shelby Miller put on. And he joins us now from the Diamondback dugout. Shelby, you retired the last 8 you faced. You struck out the last 5 you faced. We had radar gun readings of 97 and 99. How did it feel last night?
I felt great. You know, especially this early in camp. You know, right now you're just trying to go out and throw strikes, and you're really listening to how your body feels and how your arm feels, and you know, to feel good early in camp is huge for me. I know at this point last year I was, and even before it's taken me a little bit longer to get my velocity up. So for it to be where it's at now is pretty promising, and you know, hopefully just keep grinding it out and getting better.
You know, Shelby, a lot of guys come into spring training and, you know, maybe the first couple times out on the mound, they just work on fastball location and they gradually incorporate some of their off-speed pitches. What's your theory on that as you move through spring training?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I mean, the biggest thing we do coming into camp first is establishing fastball command, and then you kind of work from there. And then, you know, that's why we throw all these bullpen sessions before we really get into the swing of things, and to work on our curveballs and our cutters and our changeups and all that stuff. But you know, the most important thing is for me, if my fastball command's there, it's usually going to be a pretty good game for me. And so I think for what it is, all of us are trying to do that and establish that early on in camp. And then, you know, when we move forward and get deeper into the camp and when the season starts, you know, hopefully all the off-speed stuff's there as well.
Shelby, Torey Lovullo was talking about a conversation, or maybe it was more than one, that you had with him in the offseason, and he really came away impressed. What was your conversations like with Torey after he was hired as the skipper?
Nothing but great conversations with Torey. You know, when one of my buddies, Joe Kelly, that was over in Boston, was really sad to hear that he was leaving. I know he's the bench coach over there with them, and had heard nothing but great things about him before I even met him, and reached out to me multiple times this offseason to check in how I was feeling and how I was doing and how he was, you know, excited to be, you know, coming over here and being our manager. And once I've gotten here, and the conversations that I've had with him are so true, and you know, you can tell he cares, and he's a real player's manager. I had nothing but great things to say about him, and hopefully we do something special.
Nice double play turn there by the D-backs infield. 2 outs now for Jock Peterson as we chat with Shelby Miller. Tell me about this diet, because BB and I, we could use some nutrition tips. I was reading about this. You were on this crazy diet where you didn't have a carbohydrate for like 6 months or something. What happened there?
No, I don't. I think that story got a little taken out of the hand. I mean, I never stopped eating carbs or anything. I think it's just you know, the way not really what I eat, but like the times I eat it, and so what I do is I wake up and I usually drink bulletproof coffee in the morning, which is, you know, just coffee with grass-fed butter in it and some MCT oil that is coconut oil for what it's worth. And then I don't eat really any carbs until at nighttime. So it's that simple. I mean, it's nothing crazy or nothing you've never heard about it, but you know, I think it makes my body feel good, and I feel strong and healthy, so I'm just going to stick to it for right now.
Well, you certainly look to be all those things, and we're thrilled for you. Shelby, thanks so much for joining us.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. D-backs lead the Dodgers 7-0. Nothing here at Salt River Fields. Hey fans, tomorrow Diamondbacks spring training coverage continues on Fox Sports Arizona. D-backs will be in Peoria taking on the Padres. Now the game will be on TV. It starts at 1 o'clock, brought to you by your Valley Honda dealers. It also streams live on Fox Sports Go. BB and I will not be doing the game, however. We'll pick up the Padres feed, so don't get, don't panic, don't get confused. You're going to have to sit through mud. Mark Grant will be there with Don Orsillo. We'll show the Padres broadcast for you. And BB and I will be back with a whole bunch of games next week. So it's Orsillo and Grant, the Padres broadcast tomorrow, 1 o'clock on Fox Sports Arizona. Jeff Mathis, who led off the 3rd, leads off the 4th. D-backs 2 in the 1st on Goldie's first home run of the year, and then 5 in the 3rd. Mathis walked and scored his first time up. We've got, I believe, a total of 13 spring training games on TV for you. We'll be doing 10 of those, and the other 3 will pick up the other team's feed, so you can get really some spring training bonus coverage on Fox Sports Arizona. And then once the season starts, we'll have every single game on TV. All 162. 161 of those will be done by Bob Brenly.
No.
Wait, what? No, sorry?
I have a good agent. I have a few off days, selected off days over the course of the season, although I'll be there in spirit, and I'll have you and Gonzo dialed up, or whoever happens to pinch hit for me.
Whoever we can find.
Yeah.
Pull a guy off the street. 2-1 to Mathis. That's a base hit. It squirts through. Jeff Mathis has been aboard twice in his 2 plate appearances. There's a leadoff single. That'll bring up the left fielder, Gregor Blanco. He's grounded out, walked, and scored a run. 0 for 1. BB, you were talking about Daniel Descalso and all he brings to the table for the Diamondbacks in a utility role. A guy that's, been in different situations in the postseason with the Cardinals and played for the Rockies a couple of years. I imagine that Blanco brings that by the truckload with all he's been through for the Giants in recent years.
Yeah, no question about it. A veteran guy. I mentioned it earlier, that knows his role with the ball club. He doesn't expect to play every day. He would certainly relish that opportunity, but he understands his role with the given team that he's on. And for the Giants, Bruce Bochy leaned on him heavily at times. And you like guys who have played on winning teams, guys that have been on teams that found ways to win a division or win a World Series title. And you like those guys that have had that experience and know what it takes to get to the finish line.
Especially on a team like this one, which last year finished the season as the youngest team in baseball, the Diamondbacks, and they have a first-year skipper, a rookie skipper for that matter. Two and 1 to Gregor Blanco. Blanco, last 5 years with the Giants, he can play center field. He's a left-hand bat, so those are 2 check marks in his favor, same as Jeremy Hazelbaker. 2 years ago, he hit better than .290 with the Giants, but that average dipped down to .224 last year. He had some injury issues. Blanco now 33 years old. Boy, he goes down in Giant history when they look back at that run that the Giants had, the whole even year World Series thing. Over the course of 2 of those World Series, Blanco really made some major contributions. Remember that catch he made in the Matt Cain perfect game? It seemed every time they needed a big play or a big hit, somehow Blanco was involved here and there. A high chopper to shortstop for Seager. They move Mathis along, 1 out. So Blanco certainly brings that to the table, and as we mentioned, so does Daniel Descalso. Descalso last 2 years in Colorado. He began his career with 5 seasons in St. Louis. There's Ron Gardenhire in the middle there. What a great hire that was, the longtime Minnesota Twins manager, Torey Lovello's bench coach this year. Gardy will have prostate cancer surgery in about the middle of April. He'll go home to Minnesota for that, and the new manager at Reno, Jerry Narron, will fill in as bench coach while Gardy recovers. Toles can't get that one. Mathis had to hold up. He'll be waved home, and it's 8-0 Diamondbacks. Descalso in at second with an RBI double. He's been on base 3 times today. Here's a look at Toles.
Yeah, that wind I was talking about blowing out earlier in the ball game has turned around and is basically blowing straight in now from right center field. Might have helped knock that ball down a little bit in front of Toles, but good base running by Jeff Mathis to get a read, saw the ball down on the grass, and was able to easily come around to score once the ball got away from Toles.
Goldie has homered, singled, and knocked in 4. Ball 1. If you were the skipper, would you like the idea of Paul Goldschmidt leaving your camp for up to 2 or 3 weeks to play in the World Baseball Classic, or would you rather have him here?
I'd rather have him here. I know there's a lot of supporters of the WBC, and a lot of fans really like the different dimension of the game, if you will. Guys representing their country. true World Series, I guess you would say. But if I'm the manager of the team, I want all my guys in camp. Too many things can go wrong when you send your best players out basically unsupervised. They don't have their trainers. They don't have their conditioning coaches. They don't have their own coaching staff. I mean, I'm sure Goldie will do what Goldie always does, regardless of who's riding herd. But if you're asking me personally, I'd love to have him right here.
Well, everybody in baseball wants to support the initiative of the World Baseball Classic. It's a priority for the league offices at Park Avenue, but it's only natural to want your guys around you, especially when they're as valuable as Goldie. Diamondbacks will have a group of players playing in the World Baseball Classic for a variety of countries. Let's see where that got him.
Well, we're getting to that time of the game. Goldie will be taken down for a pinch runner here, not because he's injured. That's just a glancing blow off the upper arm right there.
Jason Pridey will pinch run. Pridey played first last night and homered. Jake Lamb. Jake is grounded out, singled. So Goldie will play for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. Silvino Bracho will pitch for Venezuela. Jorge De La Rosa, the former Rocky starter who's competing for a bullpen spot here, will pitch for Mexico. Raymond Fuentes will play for Puerto Rico. And Fernando Rodney, the new closer, will play for the Dominican Republic team. There'll be some other players from minor league camp participating as well.
Saw a story on the internet this morning. We'll talk about being loaded at a position for the WBC. The Netherlands. Didi Gregorius and Xander Bogaerts as shortstops. Somebody's going to have to move.
How are we looking?
Ooh.
Boy, Didi's turned into a nice player
Oh,
for the
he really
Yankees.
has. Really has. It couldn't happen to a nicer kid.
Diamondbacks will play Team Mexico next week. We'll have that game for you on TV here on Fox Sports Arizona. And we also will televise a game against the team from the Asian bracket, against one of the teams. So we'll have a couple of World Baseball Classic games versus the D-backs for you this spring.
Yeah, speaking of Xander Bogaerts of the Red Sox and Team Netherlands, I believe they open up their WBC play in Korea.
Yeah.
That's a nice flight from Fort Myers, Florida.
How are we looking?
Over to Seoul, Korea.
Download some movies.
Whew.
Jake Lamb strikes out. And that's the second out here in the fourth. By the way, the Red Sox got some good news on David Price, we're told. Of course, Price, their very valuable left-hander, had some forearm tightness, had an MRI, was sent to Dr. Andrews for a second opinion. Those three things in succession are never good.
Usually not.
But we're told that he got the all clear. They'll shut him down for about 10 days or so, and then they'll reevaluate. But at this point, no surgery required. Certainly everybody in Boston breathing a deep sigh of relief.
And I'm sure the Red Sox will say they're going to slow play David Price for the rest of spring.
Of course, that's a rotation that everybody in Boston's excited about. They had Rick Porcello win the Cy Young. They have David Price. They added Chris Sale. That's a pretty big three in the AL East for Boston. Here's Chris Owings. CO has popped up. He's got an RBI single, 1 for 2, playing shortstop today. Got a look at Chris's brother last night, Connor, who got into the ball game in the 9th inning against the Cubs. Corey Seager just dropped it. He may have been screened by Descalso going second to third. It was hit right to him, and he dropped the ball.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of an effect Descalso had right there, but Corey Seager, normally very sure-handed, he just clanks this ball, hit right at him. Maybe a step or two to his right, looked like a sure double play ball. He just couldn't handle it. Everybody's safe. You'll see Descalso kind of got himself between the baseball and Seager and jumped up in the air and let that ball get by, and Seager couldn't handle it.
So once again, the D-backs have the bases loaded. 2 outs, and the batter will be Jeremy Hazelbaker. Here comes Dave Roberts. Hazelbaker 0 for 2. He's grounded out and popped out. And Dave Roberts will take the baseball. So that'll be it for Fabio Castillo. New pitcher on the way back after this.
Dodgers pitching staff today 8-0 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Hey fans, MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. Watch out of market regular season games, spring training, and the World Baseball Classic live on over 400 supported devices. Visit dbacks.com/TV.
A run is in here in the 4th. It's 8-0 Diamondbacks. Bases loaded. 2 outs for Jeremy Hazelbaker, and the new pitcher for the Dodgers, the lefty Colt Hines. Pretty good numbers in AAA last year, and just under 40 appearances. Hazelbaker 0 for 2, and there's strike 1. Jeremy 3 for 13 on the spring so far. A double and an RBI. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
First look at Colt Hines out there on the mound for the Dodgers. I think this is something that every organization envisions at some point. If they've got a left-hander in their organization that maybe has struggled with a traditional delivery, you go up to him and you say, hey, did you ever think about dropping your arm angle a little bit? And it makes all the difference in the world for some guys. That higher arm slot, the ball tends to flatten out a little bit. Breaking ball isn't quite as much of a sweeper, but Hines dropping down way down there, almost sidearm. Really gives those left-handers some problems.
Yeah, and even tougher at bat for some of these lefty hitters. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Descalso at third, Priddy at second, and Owings at first. Came in and struck him out. Diamondbacks leave him loaded. They add 1 more. We are through 4. They lead the Dodgers 8-0. D-backs lead the Dodgers 8-0. Hey fans, Fox Sports Supports proud to team up with National Alliance on Mental Illness and their commitment to improving the lives of family and those living with mental illness. Learn more about how to be stigma-free and visit foxsportsupports.com. Jason Pridey, who came in a pinch run for Goldie, stays in the game. He'll take over at first base. And Braden Shipley back out there. Here's Andrew Toles. Toles drives the first one to Brito and right. One pitch, one out. You may have noticed as Braden Shipley has gone along here, something new with Braden, a pause at the top of his delivery. It's a little dramatic, but it's something he says feels a lot better, helps him feel like he's throwing harder. He's able to get down the hill without feeling rushed out there. That's something he did several years ago, and he's kind of brought it back, that extended, exaggerated pause at the top.
It's actually almost at the bottom. It's when he extends that left leg right there down toward the ground and then almost comes to a complete stop, but it allows him to get his arm in the proper throwing position. Just that little bit of a hesitation while the upper body continues to do what it needs to do, and he feels that that allows him to get that arm up in a good throwing slot.
And you see him really lean back like that. He's really trying to get that backside a little more involved. We're always told, BB, that pitchers use their legs as much as their arms, and you can see him kind of load up with that back leg like that. Right there. Trying to get those mechanics a little more consistent. This is something he'd used before and had success with it, so he's brought it back.
Yeah, some pitchers will make an adjustment like Shipley has done to help their own mechanics, to help them be in a better throwing position. Other pitchers, especially crafty veterans, will do something like that to throw off a hitter's timing. So in that respect, it serves a couple of purposes for Braden Shipley. Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers has kind of an exaggerated extension of the front leg and a slight pause before driving toward home plate.
There's Miles Smith from minor league camp, the right-hander warming up the Diamondback bullpen. Shipley came on with 2 outs in the second, and he's back out there to start the 5th. Chris Owings, some COD. The throw is high, pulls Pridey off the bag, and Austin Barnes is aboard. How does Chris Owings' defense compare to Nick Ahmed's, you think? Is there a drop-off, and if so, how big is it?
I think that ever so slightly a drop-off in everything but speed. I think Chris has as good a range as Nick going up the middle of the field or going into the hole between third and short. I think arm-wise, maybe just a little slower with his release. Nick is just lightning quick getting the ball out of his glove and unloading it to first base, but it's not much of a separation.
Third baseman today for LA is Charlie Culberson. Popped up his first time up. He faced Shipley to lead off the third, and it's 1-0. We have had only a couple of chances to see Ketel Marte play shortstop, and boy, he looks athletic out there. So they have a lot of options at shortstop. Barnes at first, 1 out. Marte started the ball game at shortstop here last night against the Cubs. This is rolled to third for Lamb. Descalso can't quite turn 2 as Culberson beats it out. They get the second out.
There have been a couple of late feeds at second base. Daniel Descalso has had to do some tap dancing out there at the bag to avoid those sliding runners. Just couldn't get much on the throw that time. No chance to get Culberson.
2 down for Alex Verdugo, the Tucson product. Had a base hit off Shipley with 1 out in the third his first time up.
Yeah, Verdugo will be playing for Team Mexico in the WBC.
Like he broke his bat, little bleeder, very shallow left center. Owings wants it, and CO has it. And we'll go to the bottom of the 5th. The Diamondbacks lead the Dodgers 8-0. 8-0 Diamondbacks over the Dodgers in the 5th inning. Sunday, it's double the games on 2 networks, fans. We start at 2:30 Fox Sports Arizona. The Suns and the Celtics. Then at 6, the Coyotes take on the Carolina Hurricanes. That's on Fox Sports Arizona Plus. You can watch both games on Fox Sports Go.
I think I'm going to be at both those games live.
Are you going to do the double dip, Suns and Yotes?
I'm giving it some serious thought. There should be plenty of time to make it from downtown out to Glendale for the hockey game, and the chances to do that are going to be few and far between moving forward.
That's true. Once we get going, it'll be all D-backs all the time. Here's the right-hander Steve Geltz, the new pitcher for LA. Their 5th pitcher already. They'll face Nick Ahmed, Socrates Brito, and Jeff Mathis, the scheduled hitters, 7, 8, 9 in the Arizona 5th. Nick, the DH today. Chris Owings starts at shortstop. Ahmed so far 0 for 2.
Ahmed will be in the 2.
Nick has flied out. He lined out to shortstop his last time up. 3 for 12 on the spring so far, and that's fouled away for strike 1. Saw Nick and Amanda out the other day at a restaurant around Arcadia area. They had a little baby boy in the offseason. Amanda had their first child, so boy, everybody's just getting married, having kids.
Yeah. Nick's got to hit this year. Baby needs new shoes.
Drops that one down the left field line. It rolls all the way to the bullpen wall. Verdugo has it. Ahmed has a double. That's his 2nd this spring.
The ability to extend his swing. He was fooled slightly by that pitch, but kind of reached out there with the bottom hand, able to get the barrel on that ball and hook it down into the left field corner for a leadoff double.
That'll bring up Socrates Brito, who's grounded out twice. That's the 8th hit for the D-backs. Socrates only 40 games in the big leagues last year. He had 95 at bats. He was up and down, injured on and off all year, it seemed. We had a tough day at Colorado. Coors Field, he homered, and then later in the game fouled the ball off his foot and broke his toe. And finished the year up and down between AAA and the big leagues, much of August and September after that. He was on the opening day roster last year after the A.J. Pollock injury. You look at Socrates Brito, and the word that you always hear is tools. He's got some power, not a ton. Runs real well. He's got a great throwing arm, a defender, covers a lot of ground out there. He's got all the tools that you need to do this job.
And even in an 8-0 spring training game, Socrates Brito has a job to do right here. Try to move that ball to the right side of the field. Ideally, it gets through for a base hit, and Nick has a chance to score from second base. At worst, you move Nick to third base with 1 out in the inning and set it up for Jeff Mathis in the top of the order.
Mathis is out there in the on-deck circle. He's walked and singled so far, scored twice. One and 2 to Socrates Brito. Boy, Socrates hadn't mentioned all those injuries he had last year. Trying to make up for some of those at bats in winter ball. Went to the Dominican Republic to play winter ball and fractured his hamate bone. So it just was one of those years. 2-2 pitch. Slaps it foul by the D-backs dugout. Well, we've seen the speed on the bases and in the field. We've seen the flashes of power from the left side, especially on pitches down and in. You pitch Socrates Brito down and in, he's going to hammer it. What we haven't seen, though, is the plate discipline. Last year, 97 major league plate appearances. He walked twice. That's got to improve.
You know, we mentioned it earlier in the ball game about some of the Diamondbacks' young pitchers showing flashes of brilliance from time to time, and you just mentioned it with Socrates Brito. We've seen flashes where you really like what you see from Brito. Ideally, you get to the point where the flashes just become a bright light, and they're there every day, not on occasion, not mixed in with a couple of slumps. But you see those flashes on a more regular basis, and eventually it just becomes his game.
And Slike at first. Geltz is over the cover, and they do indeed move Ahmed along to third. So Brito gets the job done. Jeff Mathis has walked, singled, scored twice. The catcher today.
Boy, just moving that runner from second to third base really changes the at bat here for Jeff Mathis. The Dodgers are forced to bring their infield into the edge of the grass, which would enhance his chances of possibly driving one through there for an RBI base hit. If the runner was still at second base, the Dodgers would be playing deep, making it obviously a little bit tougher to sneak one through that infield.
Dodgers have had 5 pitchers out there, but all their defenders have remained the same throughout the ballgame. No changes yet.
You're more likely to see that on a split squad day when the team, for obvious reasons, is split up. Half the team's over playing against the Royals and the other half here playing against the Diamondbacks. So the guys who are in-house tend to get extended.
Whoa, Nick Ahmed, that almost took your head off. Ooh. Get down. That was a close one. Now you see where Tony Perez-Chica is standing there. That's a violation of the new rule that has just been passed as of yesterday, where the coaches in the boxes, both first and third, have to be behind both lines, and once the ball is thrown, then they can move around as long as they don't interfere with the ball in play. But you're supposed to be tucked in that little corner of the coach's box, but Tony is north of that.
I'm going to have to pull up that rule. Maybe I misinterpreted. Let me read it one more time. But I thought it was just the front line, the line closest to home plate. The coach was not allowed to be any closer than that. I thought you were allowed to go beyond the back line, because that doesn't really provide any advantage to a third base coach getting farther away from home plate just to protect himself. I thought it just applied to the line closest to home plate.
You may be right. Let's find out. Supposed to be behind the 2 lines that are closest on the first and third base side. A lot of semantics involved. Mathis aboard for the 3rd time today. There's a 1-out walk. As your somewhat reliable staff, it's spring training for them as well.
Well, it's an amendment to Rule 5.03. requiring the base coaches to position themselves behind the line of the coach's box closest to home plate and the line that runs parallel to the baseline.
So they have to be in that little corner, right?
Well, they can't be any closer to home plate than the line that's closest.
They can be back.
They can be behind the third base or first base coach's box. And once the pitch is delivered, you can get out of the box to pick up the runners as they come around third base. But you know, once again, an effort by Major League Baseball to protect guys who are very vulnerable down there.
We just saw how vulnerable they were earlier. So that's why they started wearing the helmets a few years ago. Blanco 0 for 2. He has walked and scored. He's got first and third, 1 out. What about the intentional walk rule? You like that? Just give them the signal and don't bother with the pitches?
It doesn't bother me one way or the other. I mean, we've all seen an intentional walk where the guy throws it to the backstop, but for every one of those you see 1,500 intentional walks where nothing happens. So, you know, it may take a few seconds off the time of game, but I don't really have an issue with it one way or the other.
Diamondbacks had an intentional walk the other day against the White Sox in Glendale, and then later that day everything was made official. So we may have had the Diamondbacks involved with the last ever intentional walk where they throw the pitches. Blanco grounds into a double play, and that ends the inning. We are through 5 in Scottsdale. It's 8-0 Diamondbacks. where the D-backs lead the Dodgers 8-0. New battery for the Diamondbacks. Josh Thole is behind the plate. And take a look at this. A longtime Colorado Rocky starter now here as a Diamondback reliever. It's the left-hander Jorge De La Rosa, signed to a minor league deal just after spring training opened last month. And certainly a familiar name for Diamondbacks fans after 9 seasons in Colorado. Logan Forsythe, the leadoff man, the second baseman. 1 for 2 with a single so far.
He may have changed teams, but certainly a familiar spring training for De La Rosa. Just had to move from one clubhouse to the other here at Salt River Fields.
And he's lived in the Valley for a long time, so this really is home for him. And Torey Lovullo made it clear when De La Rosa was signed, as camp was opening up, no mysteries about his proposed role here. He is going to work strictly out of the bullpen should he make the club. Something relatively new for Jorge De La Rosa, who is the Rockies' career leader in wins and strikeouts. Jake Lamb at third, spins and throws. A little too far for Jake, as Forsythe, even with those bad knees, able to beat that out.
Come on, Logie.
Nice backhanded stop here by Jake Lamb. Had to retreat a step or two. Kind of lost his balance right there. And by the time he recovers, Forsythe able to beat it out for an infield hit.
Forsythe every year has had a series of lubricating injections into his knees. He's had that condition for several years now. He's missed the last 3 games waiting for those injections to kind of take effect in there. So he's not running at full speed yet. Here's Corey Seager, who's 0 for 2.
I'm still waiting on my injections to take effect, and I had them 15 years ago.
You have new knees, don't you?
I have one new knee, yeah. No, but those injections, a lot of people, baseball players or not, have had them to try to alleviate some of the cartilage issues in their joints. And for some people, they respond very well to it, get some relief. Other people, it doesn't help so much.
Seager gets this high in the air. Backs up Hazelbaker just shy of the warning track in center. And he's got it for the first out. Now, Forsythe has been out most of the week. Several injections in that right knee in the course of the offseason. They've been waiting for that lubrication effect to kind of kick in. He's got worn cartilage in that knee, something he's dealt with for several seasons now. The injections have become part of his routine. He had 3 of them, in fact, in that knee in the offseason. Here's Andre Ethier. He has walked and been hit by a pitch, the DH today. D-backs have the shift on. The veteran Ethier. Only 16 games with LA last season. This might be his final season as a Dodger, Andre Ethier. Final year of his contract. He'll make $17.5 million this year. He turns 35 in April.
You mentioned Ethier breaking his leg last year in spring training against the Diamondbacks. Yeah. In a roundabout way, it kind of alleviated a problem that the Dodgers had. Too many outfielders, not enough positions.
Same problem this year.
And they've got the same thing this year with Ethier back healthy and all the guys that rotated in and out of that outfield last year for the Dodgers.
They expect, at least Dave Roberts has said to this point, he expects Yasiel Puig to play most of the time out there. Puig is not here today, but they have Trace Thompson back from a back injury that kept him out for most of the second half of last year. They saw some nice flashes from Coles last season. Peterson's in center. They've got a whole bunch of guys out there. What about the acquisition of Jorge De La Rosa? You like that move?
Well, I do. I mean, we've seen an awful lot of him playing against the Rockies over the years, and we've seen him really good. We've seen him really bad, but he's a left-hander. He stays healthy, throws strikes for the most part, and those guys are always going to be in demand, whether it's here with Arizona or if we get down to the end of camp and somebody else is looking for a veteran left-hander, maybe to plug a hole in their rotation. He could become a very valuable trade chip. If not, you always like having those experienced veteran players, especially left-handers, available.
Diamondbacks have also brought in Brian Mattis, the former Baltimore Oriole. Like De La Rosa, a converted starter and a left-handed veteran. Comes inside with a full count to Ethier, and he's got a 1-out walk.
I mean, if you're Jorge De La Rosa, you have to ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Pitch for the Rockies. You leave the Rockies and go to the Diamondbacks, two of the better offensive ballparks in all of baseball. What did I do wrong?
Those ballparks are rated 1 and 2 in the big leagues in terms of elevation. And as we know, the ball flies. De La Rosa has a dreadful career record at Chase Field, in fact. Remember, he was their opening day starter several times for the Rockies. But last year, it was the first time since 2008 that he pitched at least part of the season in the bullpen. 27 appearances last year, 24 starts. So he has had some experience back there as of late. Scott Van Slyke fouls that one off, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, we were talking about the Dodgers' crowded outfield, and Van Slyke used to be a member of that Dodger outfielder. He doesn't see a lot of playing time out there as of late because of the log jam, but he's another guy you can add to the list that's looking for some playing time in the outfield.
Well, if you're a right-hand hitting outfielder, that's a check mark in your favor for the Dodgers. Here you go, BB.
Well, over our heads.
His beard is in midseason form. He can always play for the House of David team if he doesn't make the Dodgers. What do you think of Archie Bradley's beard? You seen that thing?
Yes, I have.
It's like he's got a squirrel under his chin or something. Archie looked great yesterday against the Padres, but that is a big league beard he's got working.
Well, I, for one, will be glad when the beard fad moves along.
Here's Jorge De La Rosa, strikes out the right-hand hitting Van Slyke. And there are 2 down.
Ooh. Good pitch down and out of the zone. Got Van Slyke to chase. He's a real good low ball hitter. So if you can tempt him down there at the bottom of the zone and have some late movement, you can get some swings and misses.
The way Archie pitched here yesterday afternoon against San Diego, I'm not letting him get near a razor because he looked terrific. Terrific. Really good Archie Bradley yesterday afternoon. So here you go, 2 on, 2 out. It's Jock Peterson who's 0 for 2. D-backs overload the right-hand side. They're still, Torey Lovello says, tweaking how they're going to play their defensive shifts or over shifts, if you like. Do they send the shortstop over there to the second base side? Do they send the third baseman over? They're trying different combinations. Right now it's Descalso and Lamb on the left-hand side, and Owings in there at shortstop. Sometimes they'll send the shortstop over, sometimes the third baseman. De La Rosa's ahead 0-2.
Used to have some great conversations with a longtime great infielder, should be in the Hall of Fame, Alan Trammell, about that very thing. What is better, moving one guy out of position or moving 2 guys out of position? Do you leave the shortstop as the lone defender on the left side because he probably has the best range? A lot of different things that enter into it. The hitter at the plate, the pitcher on the mound, the game situation.
But that's Jake Lamb nearest first base, sort of in the middle between Pridey and Descalso. Jorge De La Rosa looking good, comes in, strikes out Van Slyke and Peterson. Diamondbacks lead the Dodgers 8-0. They lead the Dodgers 8-0. And we're joined now by new D-back catcher Jeff Mathis, who's had a great day. A couple of walks, a single. You scored twice. Jeff, thanks for joining us. How are things going so far this spring?
It's going good. The sorenesses are starting to get out of there. Everything's feeling pretty good, and it's been a great experience so far.
We've heard a lot, and we've heard this term over and over, Jeff, and I apologize because I'm sure you're tired of answering this question, but what exactly is pitch framing? Because we've been told that it's a big emphasis this year. How would you describe pitch framing?
I don't know. In my words, I guess I'm just trying to make every close pitch look good. Obviously we want as many strikes as we can get called, and that's the objective.
Much easier to do that if you know your pitching staff well and know the movement on their pitches. How has that gone for you this spring, getting to know everybody on this pitching staff?
Yeah, well, that's the main thing. It's getting in the bullpens with the guys and understanding what their pitches are doing and how they're moving, and obviously that helps a lot when you start trying to frame pitches.
New pitcher for the Dodgers is the right-hander Trevor Oakes. Scalzo hits that one up the middle. Chris Taylor, the new shortstop, has it. That's the first out. Jeff, the plan, do you know how it's going to work with you here and Chris Iannetta? We have some other new catchers in camp as well. How much has that been discussed? Who catches and when?
Not sure. We just get ourselves ready for whenever our number's called. And, there hadn't been any numbers or games thrown out there. So, everybody's just preparing and getting ready to go.
Is too much being made of catch framing now? Obviously you're here because you're one of the best in the business at it. And as we've mentioned, it's an emphasis here for the Diamondbacks. But now it's like this big thing. We hear about it all the time. It's sort of this analytic craze.
Yeah, no, I don't know if it's, overboard or whatnot. It's just something that I've took a lot of pride in for a long time. And I guess for it to be acknowledged the way it's being acknowledged now is, it's good for me. But it's something, like I said, that I've always, just took a lot of pride in.
The thing about pitch framing for me, Jeff, is the guys that are good at it, you don't even notice it. The guy that grabs a pitch that's 8 inches off the outside corner and tries to drag it back into the strike zone, even bad umpires can see that.
Yeah, that's the thing you watch from the other dugout. You see guys moving pitches a whole heck of a lot.
Jason Friday.
Atta baby.
Jason Friday, who homered, has a triple. Go ahead, Jeff.
No, it's when you start moving the mid a whole lot, I've always, even back when I first came up, I was told that, you don't want to show any of the umpires up. And that's just something that I've always, just tried to remember when trying to receive the ball.
I know you played for Mike Scioscia in L.A., great defensive catcher in his own right. Who were some other guys maybe that kind of helped you out a little bit, showed you the ropes behind the plate?
Well, I was very fortunate. Like you said, I had Mike. I had Benji Molina, I had Jose Molina in camp. There's a lot of others that have obviously helped me out along the way. But, I was very fortunate to have those guys, in camp and guys to look up to and learn from.
Jason Friday, a 3-run homer in the ball game here last night. Now he's got a triple with one out in the 6th. And here's Jake Lamb. Talking to new D-backs catcher Jeff Mathis. Jeff, boy, I just can't imagine what you and your Marlins teammates went through last year with the Jose Fernandez death. What a tragedy. It was just a shockwave around baseball. What was that like for the Marlins in the clubhouse?
It was tough. I mean, there's no doubt. Obviously, he was a huge part of our team. He was, obviously a great pitcher, as everybody knows. And, it was really tough on us all. And it took us as a group effort and everybody just kind of sticking together to get through that experience.
I just can't imagine. How do you recover from something like that? That's just dreadful.
Think about him a lot. Obviously he's on our minds and something that'll always be a part of us. And obviously be greatly missed.
Well, Jeff, we're sure glad to have you here in Arizona. We appreciate your time. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, guys.
We are through 6. D-backs lead the Dodgers 8-0. Dodgers 8-0. Hey fans, you can customize your own ticket pack with a D-backs mini plan. You'll get the best seats for the lowest prices, including lower level tickets for opening day and for series against teams like the Indians, the Cubs, and these Dodgers. For more information and tickets, visit dbacks.com/mini-plan. 8-0 Diamondbacks as we start the 7th. And we mentioned Jorge De La Rosa out there, the veteran left-hander competing for a bullpen job. And here's another veteran lefty out there. It's the former Baltimore Oriole, Brian Mattis, is on to start the 7th.
His combined numbers last season between Baltimore and Chicago, pitched in a total of 8 ball games. Tall left-hander, slinging action out there on the mound. Has some good tail on his fastball. Throws a hard slider.
Brian from St. Mary's High School here in Phoenix, pitched at the University of San Diego. First round pick by the O's back in 08. He was the 4th player selected overall in that draft. And he had a very good 3-year run working as a reliever in Buck Showalter's bullpen in Baltimore. Now trying to win a similar job here with the Diamondbacks. Andrew Tolles, the right fielder, leads off the 7th. And we have a number of defensive changes behind him. As you might imagine, we've reached that point in the ball game. '74 Domingo Leyba has taken over at third base. Ildemaro Vargas is at shortstop. Leyba over in the second base spot as the shift is on for Tolles. Fuentes, Negron, and Arcia left to right in the Diamondback outfield. And I think that pretty much covers it. Tolles singled in the second. He's 1 for 2. Very shallow left center. Negron on the run. Makes a nice sliding grab. Christopher Negron trying to win a utility role here with the Diamondbacks. He's been playing all over the field, infield and outfield. Made a nice sliding catch there.
Yeah, I saw him play shortstop a couple days ago. Had to make an adjustment right at the end of that play and then bobble it after making the catch, but all's well that ends well. 1 out.
The catcher Austin Barnes singled his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Brian Mattis was signed by the D-backs to a minor league contract on the very same day that pitchers and catchers reported here to Salt River Fields, February 13th. Mike Hazen and his front office have brought in a whole host of veteran relief pitchers trying to rebuild this bullpen. And we're seeing 2 of them now back-to-back from the left-hand side. Jorge De La Rosa, now Brian Mattis. There's J.R. House, who'll be the manager at AA Jackson this year. Trying to coordinate the traffic. And there's a lot of it in these games. This will drop into left center, a base hit for Barnes. He's 2 for 3.
Now, we've talked about this in the past, partner, but the bullpen seems to be one of the easiest spots on the field to make changes, and you rarely will see a team finish the season with the same bullpen they started with. So I think the Diamondbacks are on to something here, loading up on some of these veteran guys and bring them into camp, let them compete, and see what your bullpen looks like as you get down near the end of Cactus League play. And there may be some guys, once again, made available to other teams that possibly will help you plug a hole somewhere else. But yeah, the more arms you can bring into camp, especially veteran arms, willing to make the move to the bullpen, I think the better chances of having an improved bullpen this year.
Well, Mattis, once he transitioned from starter to reliever, became a very effective left-hand arm out of the Baltimore bullpen for several seasons. Here's Charlie Culberson. He really became the Orioles' key situational lefty. Got some very critical outs during some Baltimore postseason runs back in 2012 and 2014. He's a very difficult at-bat for a left-hand hitter in a key spot. Difficult season for Mattis last year. He was on the DL near the end of spring training with the Orioles, had a lower back strain. Made only 7 appearances for Baltimore. Was traded to Atlanta about the middle of May. And the Braves designated Mattis for assignment that very same day. Got picked up by the Cubs, spent some time in their minor league system, and now is here with the D-backs. 1-1 on Charlie Culberson. Look out! That bat hit the concrete, thank goodness. Our rally backs scampering out of the way. Did you see the play that the Met guy made yesterday?
Oh, I did see that.
That was never seen anything like it, and probably won't ever see it again. There was a Met minor leaguer in their dugout, third base side, and the bat came flying in there. And the guy caught it barehanded, the bat.
And looked as casual as he could possibly be.
It was unbelievable. You can check that out on your Cut 4 scenario at MLB.com. I forget the guy's name. He was on number 73 or something, but you never seen anything like it. He just reached out and grabbed the bat, and it was flying into the dugout. That one didn't come near anybody, fortunately. It's 1-2 on Culberson. Got him. Ryan Mattis rears back, gets the strikeout, 2 down.
Just rushed him upstairs with a fastball. Charlie Culberson, a pretty good high ball hitter. That time Mattis able to get it a little higher than he could handle.
Here's Tucson's Alex Verdugo now playing center field. He started the ball game in left for the Dodgers.
Boy, Alex.
Verdugo has single popped up. He's 1 for 2. We think back to that staff that Baltimore put together several years ago. Looked like they were going to dominate with a rotation that included Mattis and Jason Hamill and Jake Arrieta. And for a variety of reasons, none of them worked out in Baltimore in those starting roles. As we mentioned, Mattis turned out to be a good relief pitcher for them, but obviously Arrieta didn't really have any success till he got to the Cubs. That worked out pretty well.
He figured it out.
He sure did, and Hamill's bounced around. Austin Barnes, the runner at second, or at first, pardon me. 2 outs, 2-0 on Verdugo. This is hit very well to right field. Osvaldo Arcia won't get there. It's off the wall. This will score Barnes. And Verdugo has an RBI double. There's another left-hand bat that we mentioned, Osvaldo Arcia, and he may have injured himself out there. He's limping on the warning track.
Arcia didn't get a great read on that ball. That was really pounded by Verdugo out there in the gap in right center field. Kind of took a circuitous route to that ball and then jams his foot up against the bottom of the fence out there in right center. Still trying to walk it off.
Arcia is a nice left-hand power bat, but he has never been a good defensive outfielder. He played for 4 different big league clubs last year. He's trying to win an outfield job here with the Diamondbacks. So the Dodgers have their first run. And here's Chris Taylor, who came in at shortstop for Corey Seager. There's strike 1. Taylor last year, his numbers with both Seattle and LA. Didn't Chris Taylor have 1 game for the Yankees against us last year at Chase Field where he almost hit for, I believe he almost hit for the cycle.
I think you're right.
And then I know what he did. And then he tried to bunt for the single.
Yes, there you go.
In his last at bat. That was not a good decision. But yeah, he had 1 big night against the D-backs last year.
Boy, that's a good catch there. I had forgotten that.
A little squib shot to Pride. He's well off the bag, going to have to hustle. He tossed it to Mattis, but Mattis stopped covering the bag, and that'll allow Verdugo to score the second LA run. That was well off the bag at first, and both Mattis and Pride kind of got caught in between there.
Yeah, I think it all starts with Mattis on the mound. If you watch, he doesn't break immediately. Kind of a hesitation there, and then he realized Pridey was well off the line, and by then it's too late. Yeah, really the only thing Pridey could have done was just try to win that foot race to the bag at first, but if Mattis gets off the mound and gets over there, that's a routine 3-1 play.
Henry Ramos took over in left field for LA, his first at bat today. There's strike one.
That's it.
Boy, Brian Mattis had a nice run in that Baltimore bullpen, 2013, 14, and 15, very effectively. Working as a reliever for Buck Showalter over the course of those 3 years, had a 3.32 ERA and nearly 200 appearances. That is well hit and into left. Taylor stops at second, 2 on and 2 out now, and the batter will be DJ Peters. He'll hit for Andre Ethier. Addis trying to get out of the 7th. Tolles flied out, Barnes single, Culberson struck out, Verdugo doubled. Both Barnes and Verdugo ended up scoring. Taylor aboard, Ramos aboard. Now here's Peters. There's a strike, 0-1. A lot of minor league arms in camp for some of these games. Drew Muir, the right-hander, warming up at the D-back bullpen.
Good try, DJ.
Gotta have your what ifs. What if this guy throws too many pitches? What if the other guy throws too many pitches? A lot of minor league pitchers are here standing by in case they're needed at a lot of these games. A lot of traffic for the coaches. 0-2 on Peters.
Attaboy, keep going.
Beautiful day here at the ballpark. Fans really caught a break with the hazy overcast. Not nearly as warm as it was supposed to be today, but still very comfortable, mid-70s.
Still a nice breeze blowing out there. It's been a windy day all morning long. But a good crowd at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. Played 2 games here yesterday. Padres during the day and the Cubs at night. A lot of Cubby fans made the drive over from Mesa to watch their world champs last night. Boy, did Shelby Miller look great or what?
Yeah.
Just terrific. D-backs won that game 3-1 over Chicago. It'll stay 2-2 to Peters.
So important for Shelby, too, in my opinion, to get off to a good start this spring, to have a measure of success, to get your legs underneath you this year, as opposed to last year when it appeared he was basically lost from his first side session of the spring until, till now. Just couldn't ever really find a consistent groove mechanically, couldn't get his arm in the right position, couldn't throw strikes. Fans will remember dragging his knuckles on the mound down at Petco Park, ending up on the disabled list, going to the minor leagues at one point during the season. So for him to have some success early in camp, I think is very important.
Well, Brian Mattis gets his second strikeout. He strands 2, but the Dodgers get 2. We stretch in Scottsdale. It's 8-2 Arizona. for Team Bob Brenly along the way. This is the play that we mentioned from that Met-Marlin game yesterday. Luis Guillorme. Look at that. Are you kidding? I mean, he didn't even flinch.
Yeah, piece of cake. It's not that easy to do.
Well, Keith Hernandez I was watching that. Keith was speechless. It's not easy.
Not easy.
No. So here we go, bottom 7. Diamondbacks lead the Dodgers 8-2. Domingo Leyba, promising minor league infielder. Hits this one deep to right field. It backs up Garlick, and he's got it. So Leyba flies out to open the bottom of the 7th, 1 away. Going to bring up Oscar Hernandez, who will hit for Nick Ahmed, the DH. So Oscar hit a long home run here yesterday afternoon against the Padres, a 2-run homer in his first at bat. Taylor at shortstop, quickly 2 outs.
I'll tell you one thing, partner. If Oscar Hernandez comes as far from last season to this season as he did from the year before to last year, if you follow my drift, huge improvement last year. Not only the physical parts of the game, but just his approach and his attitude and his body language. You could tell last year he felt much more comfortable as a big leaguer as opposed to the year before when he was a Rule 5 pick and basically just had the best seat in the house to watch a ball game every night.
You remember last year when Wellington Castillo's wife went into labor, Oscar came up, joined us at Citi Field, and hit an extra inning home run to win a game against the Mets.
That was one of my favorite games of the season because both catchers homered in that game. Tuffy Gosowicz. Was it the same game or the game before?
Tuffy homered the next day at Fenway, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, because the catchers were just pounding the ball there for a while.
Here's Christopher Negron. Played last season with the Cubs AAA team in Iowa. You might remember him as a former Cincinnati Red. Did not play in the big leagues last year. Parts of the 2014 and 15 seasons for the Reds. 2-2. Called strike 3, a 1-2-3 inning. D-backs go quietly. We head to the 8th. They lead LA 8-2. Back in Scottsdale, D-backs lead the Dodgers 8-2. If you're in Scottsdale, you got to go to the iPick. I know you love that theater. I do too.
Indeed.
We sent Andrew Chafin, Zach Godley, and Jeremy Hazelbaker over to check out Logan, which is the latest Hugh Jackman Wolverine X-Men deal. And they got double slushies.
Ooh.
And some dots, which look fresh. There's Jeremy Hazelbaker on the right, Andrew Chafin. And Godley's over there with his feet up. We talked a lot about Shelby Miller's offseason diet. These guys are having double slushies at the movies.
Different strokes for different folks, whatever works.
Logan, of course, comes out today. Everybody's excited about that with the Wolverine and the whole thing. Here's Kivas Sampson, who we've seen the last couple of seasons with the Cincinnati Reds competing for a bullpen spot here with the Diamondbacks. You see his numbers last year with Cincinnati. 26-year-old right-hander. Koya Dixon will lead it off for the Dodgers.
That's it, swing it.
Came into the game to play first base in relief of Andy Van Slyke. Or Scott Van Slyke, pardon me. Dixon's numbers last year, good season, almost 330 with 18 homers in the minors. On deck for LA is their new second baseman. He may look a little familiar. That's Mike Ahmed, Nick's brother. Checked into the game about midway through. He'll hit next. Michael Ahmed. Kivas Sampson was a starter for a while for the Reds. Had a very good start against the D-backs a couple of years ago. Saw him mostly as a reliever last year in Cincinnati. 18 appearances, all but 2 of them in relief. And he struck out 42 batters in just over 39 innings, but he also walked 27. So that's been the problem with Kivas Sampson. He was at AAA Louisville for a while last year. Ildemaro Vargas at shortstop, 1 down. But Sampson's always had a very live arm, throws hard. They sent him to Louisville after it didn't work out as a starter, trying to convert him from starter to reliever. And in AAA last year, just over 62 innings, he pitched to a 1.88 ERA, so he can do it in this role. And is getting a chance here this spring with the Diamondbacks. The numbers for Mike Ahmed: 278, 19 home runs.
That's it.
I can see a little bit of Nick in his setup in that right-handed batter's box. Not quite exactly the same, but similar movement with the hands. Although Nick has changed his setup a little bit this year. It looks like Nick Ahmed up there.
That's it.
Well, Mike played collegiately at Holy Cross in Massachusetts. Nick played at UConn. And he grew up in Western Massachusetts. Mike was a 20th round pick out of Holy Cross in 2013. That was just 1 year before Nick Ahmed made his major league debut here with the D-backs. Holy Cross is a tough school to get into. This is a smart family, the Ahmed clan. They have a brother Alex who's a Harvard graduate.
Ooh.
So they take the academics seriously in the Ahmed family, growing up in Western Mass. Nick, of course, went to UConn.
Come on, Mike.
That one is wild from Kivas Sampson, and the count is full 3-2. Kivas Sampson, another example of what we were talking about. Bring as many relievers in here as you can and try and rebuild a bullpen. And there are no shortage of candidates here this spring. That one is hit hard by Leyba at third and down the left field line. Fuentes has it in the corner. Here comes Mike Ahmed digging for third. And he's in there with a triple. It's an Ahmed triple here in Scottsdale. Wait, what?
What? Well, got a pitch down and in, drop the head of the bat on it, put it right down that third baseline. You rarely see triples down into the left field corner, but much like his brother Nick, Mike Ahmed refuses to stop, just keeps running, ends up with third base with a triple.
Kyle Garlick, the new right fielder, his first at bat.
That's all right, so what?
He's got some power, almost 20 home runs in the minors last year. Had a big gathering of D-backs employees here at the ballpark, BB, earlier this afternoon. Everybody was out there on the patio enjoying a cookout, having some lunch. Vargas at shortstop, then we'll get Ahmed home from third, and it's 8-3. The RBI for Garlick. And during the cookout, they honored somebody who well deserved and frankly overdue, Marshall Jennings. And Marshall has been responsible, along with Dave Dunn and some other people here, for the condition of not just this field, but the entire complex, both on the Diamondback side and the Rocky side. And Marshall has been here since day one. This is our 7th season at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. And Marshall, as head groundskeeper, was named Employee of the Month.
Nice. Congratulations, Marshall. I'll tell you, we talked about it. You know, when the Diamondbacks don't play here, the Rockies do. Many times there's 2 games in one day, an afternoon game and a night game, and every time we walk into this place, it looks like the very first game of spring. They do such a great job, not only taking care of the stadium, but taking care of the backfields where a lot of the work is done, the cages, the bullpen mounds. Just a tremendous facility, and Marshall's a big part of that.
And with all the rain we had here in the offseason, even some this week, we had some heavy rain earlier in the week. It's been a lot of work for the terrific crew here, and Marshall has done an outstanding job since we opened this place. So congratulations to Marshall Jennings and everybody here, because this place is, as usual, the jewel of the Cactus League. Arcia runs into the bullpen out there, and it stays out of play. Osvaldo Arcia.
Had a chance to catch up with the head groundskeeper from Chase Field, Grant Trenbeth, earlier today. Asked him how the ballpark was looking, and he's very encouraged because of the rain we did have. They were able to get the turf down, get some rain on it. They're positive that the field downtown is going to be pristine for opening day.
Did you see Petco Park in San Diego?
Yeah.
They had, with all the rain, speaking of the rain that Northern California and Southern California has had, boy, Petco Park, they had about 4 feet of standing water on the field, but that's been taken care of as Barnes grounds out. Dodgers get one, bottom 8 coming up. D-backs lead at 8-3. Here at Salt River Field's a talking stick. D-backs and Dodgers. Arizona has an 8-3 lead. As we start the bottom of the 8th inning, a new battery for LA. The right-hander Jacob Rame is on for the Dodgers. Last season his numbers at AAA, 1-7, but a 3.29 ERA. And the new catcher is Jack Murphy. Those are the changes for the Dodgers. How about that hair?
There you go. Got the moss working back there.
That's a lot of moss.
That's a lot of moss. Yeah, the demands of the position would say that over the course of the summer he's going to end up getting his hair cut.
I think the demands of just good taste. But whatever works for you.
If I could, I would.
Yeah, that's true. Josh Tolley, the D-backs catcher, leads off the bottom of the 8th.
Oh, Raymer.
Josh Tolley, 8-year big league veteran, signed by the D-backs late in January. Spent the last 4 seasons with Toronto, and he's got a base hit. 4 years for the Mets, 4 in Blue Jay land, and it's a leadoff single for Tolley.
It looked like Tolley might be that guy to set him up as a personal valet catcher for the knuckleball pitcher that ended up in Atlanta.
R.A. Dickey.
Yeah. Thought Tolley might be one of those guys that followed Dickey wherever he went, but Dickey in Atlanta, Tolley here in Arizona now.
Ildemaro Vargas. This guy is a very interesting player and somebody to keep your eye on. Vargas was let go by the Cardinals a couple of years ago, and he's been another independent league find by the D-backs scouts. He has just really rapidly moved up through the D-backs minor league system with some impressive numbers. Hit .354 at Reno last year and was added to the 40-man roster in November. Very athletic guy, 25 years old. Very interesting player. Between Visalia, Mobile, and Reno, he made 3 stops through the system last year. He hit .305 with 6 home runs and stole 21 bases. And he can play second, third, shortstop. Ildemaro Vargas. Good contact hitter. He's been a disciplined hitter throughout his minor league career. In the minors last year, had nearly 580 plate appearances, and he walked more than he struck out. This in the air, very shallow right center. They got it surrounded, and it drops in. Tolley heads for third, gonna have to hurry, and he's in there. Using that catcher's speed we so often talk about on the broadcast, and throw beat him, but it bounced away from Eric Mejia at third.
Yeah, believe it or not, Tolley got a great read. He saw that that ball was going to land out there in the Bermuda Triangle between the 3 Dodger defenders, so he got a good read. Just the legs weren't willing to carry him as fast as he wanted to go, but fortunately he makes it safely into third.
And Vargas is in at second, nobody out. And here's Osvaldo Arce, the right fielder, and this guy has got some power. Played with 4 big league teams last year: the Twins, the Rays, the Marlins, the Padres. 203, 8 home runs. He was once considered a very promising prospect in the Twins system, but was passed around last year and is looking for a home now here in Arizona. Osvaldo Arce, not yet 26 years old. Drives this one to center field. Verdugo's out there. Here comes Tolley. Throw is into third. 9-3 D-backs. The RBI for Osvaldo Arce. Let's check out the slide by the catcher Tolley going into third. This is not quite textbook, BB.
Thing of beauty. Watch this.
Look out.
That's
like
just in case the defender at third is anticipating a routine slide. You give him something different.
That's a belly flop. But he was safe. Here's Pridey.
Try Raymer.
Pridey, another one of these left-hand veteran bats brought in minor league camp. He did not play baseball last year. Last big league action, 6 games with the A's in 2015, but he's been a hitter so far this spring. Garlick kicks it around, and Vargas comes in to score. 10-3 Diamondbacks. Friday tripled his last time up. He homered last night, now with a single. It'll bring up Jack Reinheimer. Third Diamondbacks hit in this inning against Rain. Reinheimer with the Aces last year, 288, 2 homers. Jack, 24 years old. He'll be 25 in July. Last year, his first experience above the AA level in his career, and had a very nice year for Phil Nevin in Reno. Knocks that one the other way, a base hit. 4 hits in the inning. The line keeps on moving. Raymond Fuentes. Fuentes took over in left field for Gregor Blanco. Ron Gardenhire, Torey Lovullo trying to sort all this out. Fuentes, a former #1 pick by the Red Sox. Played only 13 games with Kansas City last year, but hit .317. Another left-hand bat being given a look by the Diamondbacks this spring. Friday at second, Reinheimer at first.
No. Attaboy, Murph.
Boy, Murphy's eyes match his catcher's gear. That's a good look back there.
Dreamy. You get lost in those eyes. Fuentes last year pretty much at AAA Omaha the whole season, hit .254 the year. He's got good speed. He stole 17 bases. First round pick by the Red Sox back in '09. Slaps that one the other way, but foul. D-backs tomorrow are in Peoria. They'll take on the Padres. Patrick Corbin will start that ball game. That's a 1:10 start. We'll have the Padres TV feed for you here on Fox Sports Arizona. Don Orsillo and Mark Grant have the call for you. You can listen to the Governor, Greg Schulte and Tom Candiotti on Arizona Sports 98.7 FM. The Governor will be out there. And then Sunday, they'll be on ESPN Radio 6:20 a.m. for the game against the White Sox here. That's Taijuan Walker who starts that game. Boy, did he look good against the Rangers in surprise earlier this week. He'll make his second D-back start.
And you mentioned Patrick Corbin. I had a chance to see him pitch his last time out. He looked really good too.
Sure did.
Now, granted, it's spring training. We got a long way to go before opening day, and even longer to go before the end of the season. But really good to see some of these guys coming out of the chute, firing strikes.
That one is off the glove of Dixon at first, and it rolls all the way down to right field. And now it gets away from Garlick out there. Pridey has scored. Reinheimer right behind. It's 12-3.
Always good to see the offense get it going, especially in one ball game, and it started in the first inning today with the 2-run homer by Goldie, and the offense has just continued to hammer the ball against this Dodger pitching staff.
Well, Garlick really had some problems in the right field corner. That was smoked by Fuentes. D-backs now with 12 runs on 14 hits. They got 5 in the third, now 4 here in the 8th. And the batter is Domingo Leyba. Leyba's a guy we've heard about for a few years now. He's still a baby, only 21 years old. Came over from Detroit in the Robbie Ray deal a few years ago. Last year with Visalia and Mobile, hit almost 300 with 10 home runs. Very solid line drive hitter. This is an interesting player in the system. Good bat control, good hand-eye coordination. They love the bat speed. And he's improved. The plate discipline has gotten better for Leyba. Strikeout and walk numbers both went each in the right direction. Played mostly shortstop last year. Visalia for J.R. House and Mobile, where he was playing for Robbie Hammock, but probably profiles better as a second baseman. Given his arm strength and range and body type, he's a big boy. Fuentes is the runner at second base. 1-2 on Leyba. Oscar Hernandez is on deck. Long inning for the right-hander Jacob Rame. This is driven deep to right center field. Leyba got into that one, and it one-hops the wall. Fuentes will score. It's a 10-run Diamondback lead. They're up 13-3.
That's what Leyba has done throughout his minor league career. You mentioned it just a moment ago. A good line drive hitter with occasional power. Got to pitch out over the plate and down a little bit. And bounces it up and over and out of here in right center field.
Second 5-run inning of the ball game for the Diamondbacks, and that's it for Jacob Rame. 13-3 D-backs back after this. A 13-3 D-backs lead over the Dodgers here in the bottom of the 8th inning. How do you like our font? There it is.
Wilmer font.
Yeah. What are they always, what are those fonts that nobody likes? Comic Sans?
Lost me.
Yeah, I figured. Wilmer Font, the right-hander, is the new pitcher. 4-4 in the minors last year at 3.68 ERA. Oscar Hernandez, the DH. It's a 5-run 8th inning so far, and still only 1 out. I'm not sure what's wrong with Comic Sans, personally. Everybody seems to dislike it so much.
I don't even know what it is. So I don't dislike it or like it.
Well, it's good. We want you to keep an open mind when it comes to font sizes and styles. Comic Sans be a good nickname for him.
Yeah.
1-1. He is the 8th pitcher used by Dave Roberts here today. Now we're showing you Comic Sans. Is that the font, Comic Sans?
Apparently so. Yeah,
right.
I like it.
Nobody, you're the only one. Everybody seems to dislike it so much. Not sure why.
Attaboy, Mark.
Nice stop back there by the catcher, Jack Murphy. And his hair.
And his hair. I wonder what kind of product he uses.
Whatever it is, he needs a lot of it.
Yes, he does.
There's the 2-1 to Oscar. He gets into another one. And it's gone. Oscar Hernandez. He homered yesterday against the Padres. Almost the same spot today here against the Dodgers. And it's 15-3 Diamondbacks. Well, they've been telling us for the longest time there's power in that bat, and we're starting to see it out of Oscar.
We really went down to get that one. We saw Nick Ahmed earlier in the ball game make a nice adjustment in mid-swing and hook the ball down into the corner for extra bases, and Hernandez kind of does the same thing. Made an adjustment in mid-swing, reached out there, got the barrel on that ball, and pulled it out of here to left field.
Now a 7-run 8th inning, and the 9th man to bat in the Arizona 8th is Christopher Negron. I was talking to Tony La Russa about Oscar the other day, and Tony really believes that he will hit, and hit with power. They love the defense, but the thing that Tony loves the most about Oscar, he said, is he can think. And which, as you know, you have to do that as a catcher. So Oscar continues to improve. Negron grounds out, and that's the second out here in the 8th inning.
We talked a little bit about Oscar earlier. A Rule 5 pick a couple of years ago, basically just sat on the bench waiting for opportunities to possibly get into a blowout ball game. But you could really see the difference last year. 2 years ago, when he got an at bat, you could tell he was a young kid getting his first at bat in the big leagues. He looked like it.
Sure.
Last year, he looked like a guy that expected to do damage when he stepped into that batter's box. And this spring, he's done some damage.
Well, Oscar last year was with Visalia and Mobile, hit almost 240 with 10 homers. Former Rule 5 pick. Little broken bat bloop. Taylor's out there and the inning ends, but the Diamondbacks score 7. And as we head to the 9th, they lead the Dodgers 15-3. Home run today for Oscar Hernandez. His 2-run shot and a 7-run 8th has made it 15-3. And there it goes off the bat of Eric Mejia. Off the base of the wall, Mejia flies around second. He'll hit for third. And it's a leadoff triple. Eva Sampson back out there for his second inning of work. The bullpen is quiet for the D-backs.
Baby on it now. Come on.
Oh, it was in a similar location to where Leyba hit his ball in the bottom half of the last inning, right out there in right center field at the base of the fence.
We'll bring up Alex Verdugo, who has singled, doubled, and scored a run today, the Tucson product.
Well,
Last season, Verdugo's first experience above A ball as a professional, played all of last year with Double-A Tulsa in the Texas League. Hit .273 with 13 homers. Second round pick by LA in 2014. This is popped up third base side. Everybody's calling for it, and it's Leyba who has it. He had Ildemaro Vargas right behind him.
Team meeting out there on the left side of the infield, waiting for that one to come down.
A lot of enthusiasm. Everybody wanted to catch it. Spring training after all.
Yes, indeed. It's good for the defensive metrics.
That's true.
Zone rating.
How's your UZR? Chris Taylor, the shortstop.
I don't know a lot about UZR. I get the general idea, but one guy back in the day that had to have a tremendous zone rating, Sean Dunston for the Cubs. He used to catch pop-ups behind Gracie on the first base side of the field because Ryan Sandberg would not catch a pop-up.
Pardon me, what?
Well, ball goes up in the air. Rhino's job was to point at it and say, there it is, Sean. And Dunston would come streaking over from the shortstop side of the field and make the catch, sometimes almost near the right field line. His zone rating had to be off the charts.
So Rhino just sort of, designates.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's yours. Go get it. He had two good defenders on either side. He was a great defender himself, but, you got a Gold Glover at first and Sean Dunston is short. And no need to overextend yourself.
Well, who was it that hated? Was it A-Rod that hated pop-ups? A-Rod hated pop-ups too. Some guys just don't get along with pop-ups.
Well, especially at Wrigley, you get that wind swirling in the afternoon sun back when they played all those day games. I wouldn't want to catch a pop-up there either.
My favorite pop-up story is yours, talking about one spring training.
Oh, the pop-up drill?
Yeah.
Oy.
On that windy day.
Yeah, that didn't work out quite the way we hoped. Glenn Sherlock was feeding a pitching machine that we had set up at home plate. Had the defense aligned on the field, and we would call out a situation. Runner at first base, and Sherles would put a ball in the pitching machine and fire a pop-up to get an idea of pop-up priorities. If the ball's hitting this area, it's your ball first unless the second baseman calls you off, and it's second baseman's ball unless the right fielder calls him off, and it's a very routine drill that every team does every spring. Well, it was a real bright sunny morning down in Tucson at Tucson Electric Park. Wind was howling. We got out of one of the backfields, and I mean, for the better part of 20 minutes, we couldn't catch a pop-up. Everyone was dropping somewhere on the field.
What was your patience level at that point?
I was okay because I dropped a few pop-ups in my day, so I know it's not as easy as it looks, but we just couldn't even catch a pop-up. One of our pitchers got a little upset, and there was an argument with one of the defenders, and I thought to myself, well, this will get the drill going. Yeah, I got a little blood flow going now. Guys are pissed. So we start feeding the machine, shooting more pop-ups, and they keep dropping again and again. And finally I told Sherles, hey, the next one they catch, that's it, we're done. Well, it took like 4 or 5 more balls before somebody finally caught a pop-up, and we said, that's it. Everybody go inside, get something to eat, and try to wash this one off of you. Yeah, it wasn't a good day for drills.
Big leaguers always make it look easy.
Man, they do. And, seeing something like that makes you realize that it's just not as easy as these guys make it look. Most of the time.
Henry Ramos ahead 2-0. Well, the Diamondbacks have made it look easy today. 15 runs on 16 hits in Zach Greinke's spring debut. Zach went 1 2/3. Gave up a single, had a walk and a strikeout through just over 30 pitches. And again, listen to the Governor, Greg Schulte and Tom Candiotti on 98.7 FM radio tomorrow from Peoria. The D-backs and the Padres. Patrick Corbin gets the start in that one. And then the Governor will be on ESPN Radio 620 Sunday AM side for Taijuan Walker's start here against the White Sox. Kivas Sampson, back-to-back strikeouts, and he closes the book on a 15-3. D-backs win, BB. This is, if you were going to script one, especially against these Dodgers, it would go like we saw it go today, pretty much.
Absolutely. I mean, the Dodgers have had the D-backs number for the last several years, and even though it's just spring training, it's time to turn that page and be a much more competitive team against the teams in their own division. So today is a good step in the right direction.
And for Torey Lovullo, the rookie skipper, what he hopes will be the first of many more victories over these LA Dodgers. 15-3. Diamondbacks, a reminder, we will have television coverage of tomorrow's game from Peoria. You can see Patrick Corbin pitch against the Padres. We'll have the Padres feed for you on Fox Sports Arizona. That's a 1 o'clock kick for that one. Patrick Corbin pitches against San Diego. Zach Greinke's start, #1 this spring, is in the books. And the D-backs, no shortage of offense. 15 runs on 16 hits. For our whole crew from Fox Sports Arizona and my partner Bob Brenly, I'm Steve Berthien. Thanks for watching D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. So long, everybody.